Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from Sherwood Forest in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, Hour 1 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. I am your lovable, huggable, mid-morning chat host, Eric Von Haessler. Surrounded by a few of the Doctrinaires. Tim Andrews is out this morning. Autumn Fisher is here. And, of course, Jared Yamamoto.
In a great mood, man. I'm feeling wonderful.
You're in a great mood.
I went to bed early last night. I pulled a U last night. Went to bed at 9 o'clock last night. I feel wonderful.
Me.
Is it pulling a you?
Yeah, you were pulling a me.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, was it the Falcons play that got you in this great mood? Is that it? As a Falcons fan, were you really excited about the way that they just didn't show up again?
You know me, I'm an optimist all the time, man. It's a long season.
There's always next week, am I right?
That's right.
For you, that wasn't yesterday, by the way. You just told me this as you came in, and I know that you weren't really thinking about it, but, of course, the big fraud went down this weekend. For the last year or so, we've known this is a fraud. I think this might be the second Greek festival in a row that we've known that there's a complete fraud. He said, because, your girlfriend grew up Greek Orthodox, and you guys always go to the Greek festival.
Yeah, I volunteered, made some Greek coffee over the weekend for a couple hours.
Except we found out about a year and a half ago through 23andMe that it's a big lie. Your girlfriend, in fact, is Italian.
Yes, she is.
Not Greek, and yet she continues to go to the Greek festival. What's the happy couple doing when the Italian festival rolls around? I'm wondering.
Listen, we are open to volunteering for all types of festivals out there.
No, all types. That doesn't count. I think that the Italians deserve a shot at your girlfriend, given the fact that she is, in fact, Italian and not Greek. And fairness says you at least have to go to the Italian festival and check things out and see if that's a lifestyle that she can comport with, since, in fact, she is not Greek. She is Italian.
We'll be releasing our joint press release this afternoon at 3:30 regarding this matter.
Because I'll tell you something. You two
You're standing behind her like the good wife would normally be.
Yeah. Let me just say, you kids got some splaining to do. All right, let's do this.
Headlines for Monday, September 30th.
There we are. I hear that there's an impeachment still going on. We have hopefully a local story before that.
Oh, I've got just a local story.
Impeachment, boy. It's a big deal, apparently. I don't give a damn, but apparently to the rest of the country, it's quite a big deal. So I guess we have to cover it since we're current events.
I'm with you, Eric.
Well, you don't care about anything in politics, so this is not specific.
So?
You wouldn't care. Yeah.
So what?
It just turns out that you and I happen to agree on this one. I actually am interested in the world and the things that go on in the world.
Hey, I'm interested in the world.
Yeah, I know. The world of...
how it works, how people work.
Yeah, below deck and Real Housewives of this or that. Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead.
How about a nice story from Buckhead to start things off?
How about a nice story from Buckhead? It's been so long since I heard a nice story from Buckhead. Why not? What a good way not only to start a Monday, but start off our week here. So, give me a good story about Buckhead.
Buckhead is set to welcome Atlanta's first microtransit system, guys.
Oh, the microtransit system. These are really tiny vehicles for really tiny people.
Yes.
And that's so sweet of them.
Well, those do is the tiny people can drive actually underneath the big people, and then you actually get rid of so much congestion on the roadways. So what are these going to be like those Shriner cars that I saw growing up? They're very
with a little horn.
Our micro transit.
Yes, it's cruising up and down Peachtree.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think I'm in favor of this because the reality is it's going to be taxpayer supported, I'm assuming, and the government's going to step in and basically compete with Uber in Buckhead, right? That's basically
exactly
what it is. It's Uber. It's going to be free if you're going to or leaving a MARTA station, and it's going to be available at a very low cost, subsidized taxpayer money that Uber and Lyft don't have available to them. So
you'll see a bunch of Mercedes 12-passenger Sprinter vans driving around. And
I'm out. Last thing I want to do is ride with 11 other people in Buckhead. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, come on. What if you're heading to the bar and stuff afterward?
You like them. Yeah. Not me. Yeah. Hey, let's get together with people and you learn. And not me.
It's easy. You just download this new app.
Yeah.
And
it's just like Uber and Lyft, except your taxpayer. I don't know where is this money coming from for Buckhead? Is it completely just their own coffers?
Well,
Do they get state money? I'm not exactly sure.
The Buckhead Community Improvement District is the one that approved the funds for this.
Okay. So the funds are that our people, because in Buckhead, you got a lot of low-income people who can't afford Uber and Lyft. Boy, if there was ever a community down on its luck that needed taxpayer money to jump in, I mean, for heaven's sakes, if we don't get in there, all we'll have is drunk Braves players at the dive bars. We need more than that in Buckhead. So, I mean, I don't know where this idea comes from. Why you already have Uber and Lyft. The market is already doing this. If you wanted to maybe jump in and subsidize, and I think this is a bad idea, but it's a better idea, if you were just to subsidize people's Uber and Lyft to and from MARTA, right?
Yes.
Maybe you'd help out mass transit a little bit. But I got news for you. I don't care. Let's say 2 years from now, this is in play. It's still going to be impossible to ride Roswell Road through Buckhead at 4 o'clock in the afternoon 2 years from now. I guarantee it. There's no way that this microtransit, I don't care how many Shriners cars you put out there. This microtransit. I don't know what the thing is. The Buckhead taxpayers want to pay for that, a low-cost rival to Uber and Lyft. Fine.
Are they going to call it that?
Microtransit is
transit.
That's the
future, guys.
That's like the category it's in. That's not what it's going to be called.
Those are the buzzwords. It's going to be called. What is it going to be called? Via. Well, the provider is Via, so I don't know exactly what they're going to call the ride share that picks you up.
And microtransit is defined as on-demand transportation for everybody.
Yeah, it's kind of like Uber and Lyft.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
except
it's all there already.
You do have to get up, put on some clothes, go to work, make some money, put stuff
I'm tired
aside.
of not being provided transportation.
Yes. Well, it says clearly in the U.S. Constitution that we all have the right to transportation.
As a woman, I deserve transportation from a MARTA station for free.
As a woman of non-color, she keeps calling herself.
I'm a color.
You are a color because white has every color in it. So I think of you as a woman of color. Okay. Does white not have every color in it?
No, because you
white has
visual...
every color. If you put it through a prism, it turns into all the other colors.
That's light. That's different than
light
color.
White. It rhymes. Don't
punch holes in my
grimes.
All right, what's next? I see you typing over there. Were you writing the Great American Novel? What's going on?
Honestly, it's my side hustle that I'm trying to work on.
The Great American Novel.
Yes, it's my
He records anytime we argue. All right, 9, 11 a.m.
I have to submit it to the FCC.
And HR, probably, of course, because of the way that I treat the only woman on the show. I'm not even angry that her kid's in the background caterwauling. Like a daycare going on here.
Listen, it's Yom Kippur. It's Rosh Hashanah. I don't know what it is. Something.
School's not in, huh?
School's not in.
Send the kid to NASA with your husband. Put her on a rocket ship.
She's not cleared for space yet.
And most of it's about security. This kid's had a lot. This kid of hers, who's only 4.5 years, 5. How old is she?
She's 5.
5 years old. Mysteriously has traveled to Ukraine 3 times. The government doesn't understand what's going on.
There's a lot of propaganda underneath her mattress that we're trying to ignore.
All right, what's up next?
Well, in a new twist, the big story.
The big story being impeachment inquiries?
That's right. President Trump is now demanding to meet with the whistleblower.
I find this interesting, and I don't know. I was looking, whistleblower, the concept is you don't out the whistleblower. Not just in this case, just any whistleblower and any corporation that's going to be the ones who, basically whistleblowers, they're almost always on the left, and they like the world that way. And so they're looking out to make sure that, see if they can bust anything. They're not always from the left, but I mean, that's kind of the way that it goes. A lot of laws around whistleblowing. And the concept being, don't out the whistleblower, because if you do that, then the next whistleblower will be afraid to come forward because their lives will be put out there in public. And I understand all of that thinking. But I don't know if the Supreme Court has ever ruled on this aspect of it. Trump basically said, like every American, I deserve to meet my accuser. Now, really, the word meet is not really what he means. He doesn't mean go out for a beer. He means face. I have the right to face my accuser, which this is a right that Americans have. You are allowed to face your accuser. You don't have star chambers who just come up with things, charges against you. And I don't know if this has been ruled on. I looked, Supreme Court had a ruling in 2016 which protected whistleblowers from kind of a scheme that was being developed by businesses to kind of shut down all whistleblowers. But it was general, and it wasn't specific about Donald Trump or any president of the United States. When you become president of the United States, or if you're the CEO of a large corporation, do you give up, do you relinquish that constitutional right of being able to face your accuser because of the position that you've gotten to? It's very interesting, because if you rule with the individual, then whistleblowing kind of takes quite a hit. On the other hand, if you don't rule with the individual, I think the Constitution takes a bit of a hit. So it's interesting to me that he brought this up as a way to go about it. I'm the president, so I magically don't have the right to know who's accusing me of these things and how they got it. You know, there's a lot of secondhand, thirdhand. The whistleblower was not on the call. The whistleblower was told about it. And so the person who told him, who was in the room, wasn't the whistleblower. So then you got to wonder about, you know, once you start hearing things secondhand and thirdhand, not just in this case, just in life, the game telephone, things tend to get lost. And if you're going to impeach a president, which, don't fool yourself. I know a lot of people can't stand this president. I know a lot of people love this president. But don't fool yourself. Impeachment equals nullifying a duly elected president. Always. That's why it's a big deal. But we live in times, sort of comical times, and I don't mean that like in a ha-ha funny way, but we live in times where there is no respect for tradition or protocol anywhere. D.C., the NFL, your job, anywhere. It's just we are now people who want it our way right now. How can we possibly make that happen? And you've got an awful lot of people on the left who hate Trump and have not thought 1 second about nullifying the votes of 63 million people. Doesn't bother them at all. At almost every other age in this country, they may have gone forward, but it would have bothered them. It doesn't bother AOC at all. She probably looks at the Constitution itself with a bit of a, it
was written a really long time ago.
Well, that's true, AOC. And many of the people were slaveholders.
Yeah,
however,
and lots of things have changed.
Things do change over time. But things like healthy court system, First Amendment, these are things that you wouldn't necessarily want to change, I wouldn't
all
think.
Backed up by old white men.
That is correct. But that doesn't necessarily mean that all of the ideas are bad. For instance, the First Amendment, that gives you the right to call the president a jerk and not go to jail. Okay, you like that one.
Yeah, that's great. That works perfect for me, honestly.
But it also gives the president the right to call you a jerk, though. You understand it? Still working on that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, checking that one out. All right. So here we go. This is going to be around for a good long time. Although I do hear their idea is to push the accelerator and just go fast and get it done by December so that you get it over with by the time you get to the Iowa caucuses and all that. We'll see if that's even possible. There's so much here that's not being done like impeachment inquiries in the past. Number one, usually you vote for that. You know, that's why Nixon resigned, is because they voted for the impeachment inquiry, and he knew he was dust when he saw the Republicans who were voting for it. So there's so much posturing going on here, and I know Pelosi thinks she might be able to get away with not doing it if she does it this way. I think it's going to just roll over. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the charges are important, whether they actually have gravity. What matters is that one side thinks they can get the other side. And if you're on the other side, don't get all full of yourselves, because this is politics, and the right does it to the left and the left does it to the right. The thing right now is that both sides don't really give a damn about the fabric of the country. I'm not saying people aren't patriots. I'm saying they either are not educated in civics, but understanding the fabric. You can't keep just stretching this damn thing to the edge every day, and every 2 weeks a new scandal, and now we stretch it even further. And the people who are doing the stretching care a whole lot more about winning than they do about the fabric of the country. And so I guess in my way, what I'm saying is I'm better than those people, because I'm thinking about, remember, the point always is that Eric von Haessler is actually better than these people.
You still like to bend the rules, Eric. That's what it is. You got to stretch that thing out as far as you can.
I like the fabric of the country. Impeaching a guy when we're going into a year where the American people, God forbid, could decide whether or not he should continue to be president.
The fabric of this country is made of cotton.
AOC.
And who picked that cotton?
Yes. So you're saying it's all based on
Thank
slavery.
You. I'll take a seat now. Next top. Go ahead, Jared. Next story.
I'm a white man. I should be taking a seat.
No, I meant like, I didn't mean
you messed up there, AOC.
I just meant like, I'm done.
Yeah,
sorry. I was up so late last night. I was brunching all day.
Stacey Abrams needs to teach you how to elevate your voice.
Irreverent, entertaining, gut-busting,
very funny, and doesn't toe any party line.
I think it's a great show.
The Von Haessler Doctrine on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Having a conversation off air as to whether Dan Quinn is going to remain the coach of the Atlanta Falcons for very long.
It remains to be seen.
The thing is, if you get rid of him now, then Cutter's going to be the coach for the rest of the year while they wait for some other people to become available. So, I don't know. What do you got for me?
Forever 21 filed for bankruptcy over the weekend.
I just think it's funny that anything with the name Forever in it files for bankruptcy. I like your aspirations, but it didn't work out. Not only did you not stay Forever 21, you didn't stay open. Well, I mean, they'll still be open. Yeah. They tied themselves to malls, though, right? Forever 21 is a mall, creature of the malls. The malls are dying. If they didn't see that coming, they have bad management if they haven't changed that around and moved that somewhere else. Now, Forever 21, I've never been in one of these things. Therefore, it's like that period of life for a girl where their favorite boy band is a really important thing to them, right?
Yes.
You go to Forever 21.
It was like that, but it's not so much anymore.
Well, Jared was telling me it was a test, like in his early 20s. What were you saying?
So if a lot of girls from ages 12 to 18 shop at Forever 21, and then if you were dating somebody in college, who'd say 21, 22, and just past college, 23, 24, and they were still shopping at Forever 21, you run away. Run away as fast as you can.
Like, they're not
ready.
They're still trying to be precocious, and I can
run away from
that.
those gals.
If you catch up with them in their 50s, they just get everything at Dress Barn. It's the flow of life,
I went to a barn for this dress.
I always thought that all the dresses were moo-moos in Dress Barn. Like the barn part to me is just like moo. There we go. Greta Thunberg apparently heard about your girlfriend, Christina, attending Greek festival after 23andMe. Had already proven long ago that she, in fact, is not Greek. She's Italian. And Greta's response:
"How dare you!"
You should be at the Italian festival.
Yeah, he should be. Yeah, she's an Italian, but there's what are you, Greta Thunberg? Not you.
What are you?
No, not you. But I mean, what are we? Are we what we think we are growing up, or are we what our DNA says we are? Because she thinks she's Greek because she was brought up Greek, but her DNA is screaming, "You're Italian," and she just says no to science. Can you believe that, Greta Thunberg? She's saying no to science and
can't believe it.
This Greek fraud.
How dare you!
All right, let's do this.
Hi, I'm Bernie Sanders. I'm running for president.
I'm going to run for president of the United States.
So I'm in this fight all the way.
I'm running to serve you as the next president of the United States of America.
This is a moment in time that I feel a sense of responsibility to stand up and fight.
They call me Mayor Pete, and I am running for president of the United States.
Come on,
That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy for president of the United States.
When we start running, keep America great! Exclamation point.
Trail mix.
God bless the United States.
So.
Yeah, whatever he said. Hey, Warren, things looking good for you.
You got it, buddy.
Because this thing could take down Joe Biden every bit as much as it could take down Trump, and then there you are, right?
I'm sitting pretty.
Yeah, you certainly are. You out of breath? Did you run to the studio this morning?
No, I casually entered the room.
You appear to
as
be,
I normally do. I sauntered, as one might say.
Are you going to have yourself
to
a coffee?
The microphone. Huh?
Are you going to have yourself a coffee?
You know what? I'm feeling a little nutty today. I'm going to have myself a coffee.
All right, what do you got in campaign trail mix?
Splash of cream, 16 sugars.
Well, it's just, you got to get out there and run, right? Need a lot of energy.
I have a feeling that after these next couple of debates, we're going to be hearing a lot more of this in the sounder because I think
people have to drop. You can't take 20 candidates into the caucuses.
People are running out of money, Eric.
Yeah, that's the way it is. You dip your toe in, you see if you get anything going. If you don't, you don't. I don't think we have the audio for it, but I can find it later. But I heard Cory Booker this morning talk about a resume for vice presidency. Because the whole question is now, will other primary candidates go after Joe Biden for his behavior in Ukraine? And I saw Cory Booker this morning. He's like, I absolutely will not. I will defend Joe Biden to the last. Oh, there's somebody who's looking at 4% thinking I might make a good vice presidential candidate. I like it. Doing his best Mike Pence impression. I will back up Joe Biden no matter what. You ever gets awkward when the impeachment proceedings are going on, like between Pence and. I wondered that, like with Clinton and Gore, like when you just got to be a little bit of a different air, even though because the Republicans hold the Senate, and I always feel like I'm teaching millennials something. So I truly believe that most millennials who hate Trump think that if he's impeached, he has to leave office, but it actually goes to trial in the Senate, and as long as I think you'd need 20 Republicans to flip.
That sounds right.
And that's not going to happen. 2 or 3 at the most, possibly. And that may not happen because this seems flimsy to a lot of people. So what do you got?
There are whispers in the trail mix stack.
I heard something.
It's autumn. It's their damn kid behind whispering.
With all this whistleblower craziness, guys.
Yeah, see, this is the whistle. This is a story?
Mama. Yes.
This is a story that a child can't shut their
iPad won't
damn.
work.
Uh-oh. You know what that translates to? Mama, my real parent won't work.
Shut up, kid.
With all these whispers going around, with all the whistleblower craziness, guys.
The whistleblower craziness?
Yeah.
Hey, who's that? Oh. Who's that?
Oh, not me, Mr. Von Haessler.
No,
not
I
me.
don't know what that is. Oh,
Autumn,
I've never. I don't even know.
You? Was that
a bird?
Was that you, Jared?
No, sir. No, sir. Not me at all. I promise.
I'll tell you something. I will get to the bottom of this.
So
I hope you do. I hope you do.
Wait,
I'm with you.
You sound like you're a little overexcited there.
No, I want to help you. Let me know.
Hey, is that you?
No. Who did that? Hey, Jared, come on.
Whistles shall not be blown in this studio. And when I find out who it is, that one seems a little unsure of himself. This was the trouble. All right.
Confident.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the Adult Swim one at the swimming pool there.
Oh, man.
Get the kids out.
Now, with all this whistleblower craziness.
I didn't know it was Adult Swim today on the Von Haessler Doctrine.
I always forget. I still get, when I hear Adult Swim, I'm like, oh, man, wait, I'm the adult.
I'm an adult now.
I get to be in the pool.
Get these kids out of here.
Yeah, peeing everywhere.
So what's going on with the buzz?
So with all this whistleblower craziness, guys, the whispers are starting to come up through Washington that maybe Hillary Clinton will jump into the 2020 race.
Can I tell you something? I wish last week I would have said this on the air because I was starting to feel it last week. She gave this speech. This refers to him as a human tornado.
Yeah.
But look, if Joe Biden goes down, you've got a lot of unelectables. A lot of unelectables. Now, you can look at Joe Biden and think he's easy to beat. I think he would be easy for Trump to beat just because of energy and all of that. But from Warren on back, I see these. I could be wrong. It doesn't happen very often, but I'm here to tell you it has happened a couple of times in my 55 years. I could be wrong, but I do not think that this country, writ large, is ready to adopt socialism, especially when capitalism right now is delivering the lowest unemployment in 50 years, and the economy is doing generally pretty good. I don't care who you blame or who you give credit to, whether it's the end of the Obama administration or the first years of the Trump administration. I tell you what I don't know about who, but I tell you what you can give credit to. Capitalism. And I just don't think that this country is going to. I think a lot of the media outlets are ready. Elizabeth Warren doesn't call herself a socialist. She's just a capitalist who likes to regulate everything. You know, if Elizabeth Warren became president, if she was able to get one of her plans through, and that's, they're not going to get all three branches. So probably, I should say both branches, one of them being bicameral. They're not going to get that, so she probably wouldn't be able to get this through. But one of her ideas essentially makes every company in this country that makes over $1 billion a year, and not in profit, but any $1 billion company in our country would essentially have the federal government as their ultimate boss in the plans that she has. You wouldn't be able to do things with your company without the federal government giving you a thumbs up or giving you a thumbs down and telling you no. Now, the press loves these people. The kids love these people. I could be wrong, as I've said, but I do not believe that this country is ready to really embrace socialism and turn the economy over to the federal government. I could be proven wrong, but so if Biden goes down, Biden is status quo. You've got a lot of unelectables behind him, and in that case, why not have Hillary jump back in? What did she say?
Jane, it was like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado.
All right, first of all, she has to get over it. Donald Trump won the presidency the same exact way every previous president since the beginning won, by the Electoral College. You don't like the results. I get that. But the idea that there's something wrong with it, and by the way, 63 million people voted for the person who's currently the president. I know that you got 3 million more votes, but it's like saying that if a team gets more yardage during a football game, they should be allowed to win, even though they lost the game 17-12 or something.
Well, maybe they should.
Maybe they should, because hey, we all know which team ran up and down the field.
I mean,
pretty obvious.
Which team worked harder? Which team deserves it more? Whose turn is it to win?
They didn't change the system so Trump could win. He won the presidency the same way every previous president has won the presidency. There's nothing weird about that. And a few times, people who have gotten less votes have won. Although it would be, if she does get in, and if she does win the presidency, I think just for fun, the Republicans should impeach her immediately, just because it would be great to have the first husband and wife that have been both impeached. And I think if this impeachment goes through, the von Haessler Doctrine says every president will be impeached.
just at the end.
Just why not? Just everybody, if we can't.
Especially if it's in the end of their second term, just impeach me, just because, I want to experience it. This is the last time I'll ever be able to be in this position.
Yeah, impeach me.
Yeah, why not?
It's like a punk rock thing if I was the president. Impeach
me!
All right, next story.
Following that logic, I was just looking up
Was that logic?
Some stats here. If
it sounded like me just rambling.
If you said that the team that has the more yards like that, if we followed that logic, the Falcons would have beat the Titans yesterday because the Falcons had more yards on offense
and I'm upset.
than the Titans did.
I'm upset.
And they should have won.
Clearly, they're the team that was moving up and down. Absolutely. The Falcons should be given that win, and Hillary Clinton should be installed immediately to the White House.
We finally agree.
But look for this. If he goes down, and I'm going to explain later why it doesn't matter whether Hunter Biden did anything that was corrupt in his position. It's the fact that he threatened Ukrainian officials to withhold funds that had been voted for by the Congress until they did something, until they did X. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how Hunter Biden acted. The right-wing blogs and the right-wing press are going the wrong way on this. It's not your obligation to indict Hunter Biden. It's silliness. It's stupidity. When what you have is an analog. You have Joe Biden doing exactly what we're being told here was wrong, which is to bully the nation of Ukraine by to do what you want them to do, the administration, and by withholding funds until they do what you want to do. It doesn't matter what Hunter Biden did. It's enough to go out there and say, hey, Hunter Biden was paid $50,000 a month to be on this board of Burisma, this natural gas company out of Ukraine, and as far as we know, he has zero experience in that field. Now, when Obama ran on hope and change, was the sons of vice presidents getting cozy jobs where they don't have to do anything in order to suck up to the current president of the United States? Was that part of hope and was that the hope or was that the change?
Change.
So
of course.
you don't have to try to put Hunter Biden in jail. You just have to point out that Joe Biden, if what Trump did was impeachable, Joe Biden did the same thing, plus hooked up his kid with a $50,000 a month job that he didn't deserve. All right, stick around. In just a few minutes, I will call out the next name in the 95.5 WSB free gas giveaway. If you hear it and call back within 9 minutes and 55 seconds, $700 in free gas is on the line. That's all.
Comes from Autumn's paycheck today, though. Not mine today, right?
It turns out Autumn has to pay for all of this.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
I made a drunken decision for everybody. So stick around for that. We have to have your name, though. WSBradio.com or the WSB Radio app. You got to sign up. If we don't have your name, we can't call your name. All right, what else do you have there on the campaign trail mix?
Oprah says that she wants...
Oprah. Never heard of her.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, yeah, that Oprah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She says that she wants Disney CEO Bob Iger to be president of the United States. She said this. She's interviewing him on
her own network called OWN.
Yes.
The Oprah Winfrey Network.
That's right.
Does anybody watch the Oprah Winfrey? They got that hip-hop show. That's kind of popular, right? They got a couple of those reality shows. They're doing all right.
And she was very complimentary.
It's not as popular as her cauliflower pizza.
That is good.
Is it good?
It is good. I've had it.
The cauliflower-crusted pizza?
It is good.
Is it good?
Have you had her massaged kale salad?
I have not had... in my life, I've never had a salad that's been massaged. I have
You're
to say
missing
this.
out.
I think
It's very relaxing.
I imagine it is.
Here's Oprah talking about Bob.
If Bob Iger had decided to run for president, I would be canvassing in Iowa right now.
I find it's interesting because leftists, remember like the heir to the Disney fortune or something, Abigail Disney? Remember a few months ago, they were all going after Iger because he was making too much money compared to the guy who sweeps the park, apparently. So I find this interesting. He's never going to be president. You want to know why?
Why?
He's really rich. He's got a good life going. Everybody likes him. Who would get involved in that nonsense? Hour 2 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. Jared was drunk yesterday watching the games, and you told me that because we don't know what's going on with the Falcons. I mean, they're
a mess.
This is making no sense. Are they 1-4 now?
1-3.
1-3.
Don't scare me like that.
Well, I thought maybe they played an extra game. So you tell me that you have friends who are Browns fans.
Big Browns fans,
and
yes.
they taught you a thing or two about how to handle moments like this. And what was it they taught you?
They said, when you're having a bad season like this, no matter what, win or lose, we booze.
Yeah, there were a lot of boos in the stadium yesterday. Falcons.
Yes, and Julio Jones addressed all those boos.
Being booed?
Yes.
I don't hear that shit. I don't really care, like, you know what I mean? Like, if they did boo. Like, for me, it's just between these white lines. Like, they can't control if they boo or they cheer for me. Like, I'm just going to ball. I'm going to do what I need to do for my teammates.
That's true. It's always, the fans always think they have way more to do with, that's why I can't, growing up in Western New York and Bills losing again to the Patriots. I can't even look at people from Boston. Somehow they've somehow assumed that they have something to do with this. That's the sad thing for fans. Honestly, you really have. Eddie, if you're a fan and your team is really good, it's really just luck for you. You really have nothing to do with it. That's what Julio Jones is saying. On days that they're cheering me, it's not because they're cheering me that I'm doing well. Was Julio particularly bad? I had a couple different games I was watching at the same time.
He was pretty good. He
looked to me like the defense was just awful.
Yes, the defense was definitely to blame, and Matt Ryan and the offense moved the ball, but once they got in the red zone, could not score.
Did he throw another interception in the red zone? Because that's been a thing for him lately.
He did not throw a pick, but he did not look good in the red zone.
It's time for Dan Quinn to go. I hate to say it. I think he's a good guy, but it's time for him. All good things must end. Let's do this.
More headlines for Monday, September 30th.
Well, we're not a sports station. I could tell you more why Dan Quinn was overrated before he came here.
We already know.
Yeah, Autumn, you can tell him.
Yeah.
Because,
because it's time for him to go.
Well, no, I'm saying why he was overrated when he came here. Because he was responsible for the Seattle defense a while back.
Yeah.
And they were a championship defense.
Wow, what a that defense, that was
Legion of
insane.
What was it? The Legion of boom. Yeah. Yeah. I'm following your lead on this, Autumn.
I'm glad. Follow me and I'll lead
Great
you
defense that he was in charge of there, but you know what? They were all man to man. It was all about the people on the field. It wasn't about schemes. Yeah.
When Autumn goes out with her gals on the weekend, she calls herself and the gals the Legion of Boom when they're out there.
Oh yeah, they're the Legion of Boom.
The Legion of Boom, Boom, Boom.
And they come home with legions of boom. It's not sad. As a mother,
that's all right. I don't mind. That's like a sign of war.
Your 5-year-old kid back there in the background, I noticed she has glasses. She got her dad's eyes, not yours?
She wears glasses. You
5
didn't know
years
that?
old? I didn't know.
Yes, she had pink eye, and we went to get her eyes checked out, and then they were like, yo, your eyes are real messed up.
Oh, she got her dad's eyes.
Yeah, see? Uh-oh.
No, that's all right. I don't need her as a guest on the show. It's okay. What do you got?
Now, the Braves, we have some good news about them. Not good that they got swept over the weekend, but we do know who they're going to be playing on Thursday at SunTrust Park in the playoffs when they
got
begin.
Swept. Yeah, they're not playing hard. Those are stupid games that nobody. You just want to make sure no one gets hurt, right?
The Braves have already clinched, but they are banged up heading into the playoffs. The playoffs start Thursday at SunTrust Park. We don't have a time yet for when the first pitch will be.
I thought you thought it was to be around 3 o'clock.
I sure hope so.
Oh, you're hoping for 3 o'clock.
Usually it's 3 o'clock, 7, and 10. And East Coast, usually they generally do it a little bit earlier.
You going to go?
If it's at 3 o'clock, absolutely.
Go there and get all drunk.
Have a nice good time
on your Bravos.
Hey, I'm going to apply the same logic that the Browns fans taught me over the weekend. Win or lose, we booze.
But couldn't that just be any day? It doesn't have anything to do with sports.
I think with Jared, it's just whatever. I'm going to booze.
Yeah.
Having to do with everything.
Whether you're down or up, drink up.
All right. Well, go Braves. I'll be watching on television. I hear it's going to be televised this year.
Yes, it's going to be televised.
I will be watching on television in air conditioning. We did not have a winner for the 95.5 WSB free gas giveaway. That hurts my feelings. That means you'll have a chance to win $800 in free gas at 4 o'clock today. You got to tune in, listen to the other white Eric Erickson. If he calls your name and you call back in 9 minutes, 55 seconds, you can claim your $800 in free gas. But he can't call your name if he doesn't have your name. So register for the free gas. Go to WSBradio.com or your WSB Radio app. What's next, Jared?
2 more major retailers have been found incorrectly charging Atlanta's higher sales tax within Sandy Springs, guys.
Yeah, now, this is a weird thing because they don't know how to get the money back. A bunch of people have spent too much money in taxes. Sandy Springs, for some reason, they got all full of themselves and became their own city, but then they forgot when it came to retail taxation that it needs to be the Sandy Springs tax, not the Atlanta tax. And they've been charging the Atlanta tax. But how do you give that back? I don't know how you give that back. It's what businesses? It says in the story what businesses now. I know Home Depot. Pottery Barn.
Oh, man.
The Walking Company.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where I'd be without that walking company. Probably crawling.
I suppose they would. How do you give it back? It's not possible.
You offer a free pair of socks.
There you go.
At the walking company.
For anybody who can prove that they bought something.
It's on the honor system.
Yeah. Okay, that'll work out. People are so honorable.
Listen, the walking company is a ma and pa. They're, they know their
may
customers.
Be honorable. I don't think the customers.
The Home Depot definitely remembers every customer.
Are you guys running into a lot of honorable people lately? I haven't been. I don't.
No.
I have not been running into. It seems to me that I used to run into more honorable people than I do now.
No, yeah, down at the 7-Eleven, I forgot my wallet, and they said, "Go ahead and take this. I know you're good for it."
Yeah, you're good. And
I never went back.
No, you ruined it. You ruined it by not being honorable.
Are they nuts? I'm not going back there, suckers.
You were the first dishonorable.
I just can't believe that Atlanta's sales tax is 8.9%.
Really? You
can't?
Yeah,
I can't believe
Sandy Springs is 7.7. That's high. That's really, really high.
Of course it's high. Well, Sandy Springs just became a city. They got to come up with their own money.
What are they going to do?
It's been a few years. No, I'm saying they have to fill their coffers. They used to be part of the city of Atlanta.
What is a coffer?
A coffer is a place where you keep money.
Well, okay.
I've never
I could have
really
figured that out through context.
I think I've only had it through context. A coffer, you got to fill the coffers. This is what I know about coffers. They have money in them, and you're much better off if they're full than
I
if
can't
they're
even
empty.
search for it because what comes up is chauffeur, and I don't know how to spell coffer.
Coffer would just be COFFER, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it's not that kind of coffer.
A strong box or small chest for holding valuables.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Then you want
Thank you.
And if you've got a strong box with valuables, the more valuable the strong box.
That used to be my nickname.
Yeah, strong box.
Coffer.
They used to say until they realized that half the city had the key. Can you believe that?
You can put your valuables in here, honey.
Just never seemed like
keep
much
them safe for you. They call me the strong box.
The concept of a strong box is it's very difficult to get in. Autumn abdicated that throne early on. Next,
Robert De Niro had some choice words and a couple of F-bombs for his Fox News critics.
Well, that's his thing, right? That's his shtick, right? As he goes on and he swears and he says the F word concerning Trump. He kind of does everything he can to try to make everyone in the Midwest not want to watch his new movie on Netflix. I'm sure the producers and directors are really happy that he's out there alienating 50% of the country.
Yeah, he was on CNN's...
How many of these millennials that he's in line with are going to watch his latest mob movie? You know what they're calling it? People say it's good, but it's him and Al Pacino and Joe Pesci, and they're all 100. They're calling it Old Fellas.
Hey, wow.
Old Fellas.
Where are you taking this on the road?
Hey, I didn't say I'm calling it Old Fellas. I'm saying it's become known as Old Fellas, which I think is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So he was on CNN.
Autumn, I didn't write that joke. I'm telling you what people are calling it. Yeah.
I thought you wrote the joke.
I didn't write the joke. I told you what they're calling. It's being called Old Fellas.
I know. People tell jokes like that and like, hey, you know what they're calling it? They're calling it. Yeah. Next story.
So Robert De Niro was on CNN's Reliable Sources, a great Sunday morning program.
Oh, Reliable Sources?
Oh, great.
That's that guy who hates Trump?
Yeah, Brian Settler, I believe is his name.
I mean, they all hate Trump, but this guy just wears it on his sleeve.
And here's De Niro talking about his Fox News critics.
This guy should not be president, period.
And when you say that, folks on Fox come after you. I remember the Tonys when he got up there and cursed. A lot of criticism of you. Okay, well, this is cable, so it's not an FCC violation, but it is still a Sunday morning.
Well,
I do wonder why you choose to go that way.
Let me say something.
Why do you choose to go that way?
We are at a moment in our life, in this country, where this guy is like a gangster. He's come along and he's said things, done things we say over and over again. This is terrible. We're in a terrible situation.
Hey, he says things, he does things we say over and over again. Are you leading up to a point here?
He says a lot of horrible things. So many horrible things.
He says
Have you heard the things he says? It's horrible.
And we're talking about and people are saying, sounds just like Trump. Hey, I've played mob people. I know mob business. I'm an actor.
Bobby De Niro.
It's hilarious. Well, maybe he thinks he can get the young crowd while he's alienating the older crowd that's known him for so long by dropping the F-bomb all the time.
Well, I know that
everybody
watches Reliable Sources on Sunday morning.
Oh, my goodness.
It is must-watch programming.
One time I missed it because I overslept and I punched myself in the face.
Oh,
I was so angry. I was so angry because I thought, I'll never get that back again. I wonder what they were talking about.
You won't.
It's likely they were talking about Trump and how he needs to be impeached, but I don't know that if I didn't watch.
if you don't watch, you don't know. And then if you don't know, you don't know.
What's his name? Yeah, that makes sense. What's the Brian Cecilia?
Brian Stelter is his name.
Brian Stelter.
Stelter. I mean, you know what? He might say something different about Trump this weekend. I know. I
don't want to miss it because he might say that Trump. Who knows? Guy's whole career is that he hates the president, which is fine. It's America. Man, it's a good show. Every week they talk about the reliable sources say 63 million people ought to be ashamed of themselves for voting for this president. These are my reliable sources. I'm Brian Stelter. Stelter?
Stelter.
He's not the guy from Stray Cats. Who's that guy?
Oh, Brian
Setzer? Yeah. This guy didn't do the Stray Cat shuffle.
I don't think so.
I love that music. All right, well, I got to tell you, I'm looking up at all the... I escape to the 70s sometimes in my mind. Eric's 10 years old and he's enjoying life because he doesn't know how corrupt and horrible people are yet. The radio sounds like this right here. Riding in the back seat of my parents' car. Listen to the radio. That's what the radio sounded like in the 1970s.
Sounded like an easier time.
It was an easier time. It never rains in California, but man, it pours. So I'm looking at these 24-hour news, and it's all, and I got to tell you, since this impeachment thing has started, I think I'll probably watch less 24-hour. It's almost like with the mass shootings where I just turn it off for a week. Except for this, I'm going to have to turn it off for months. It is so boring. It is so boring. Every one of these networks. Oh, we have one guest from the left and one guest from the right, and they'll talk past each other as they vomit their talking points all over the place. And if you're too stupid to know you should be bored and turn away, then you deserve exactly what you get. It's just boring. Here's somebody from the left. Here's somebody from the right. They'll talk past each other. What are you, an idiot? Go outside. Take a walk. This guest from the left and guest on the right on CNN who are debating something or on Fox or on MSNBC, the outcome of this, whatever it may be, will have nothing to do with the hours upon hours of full table punditry that's going to come out of CNN, MSNBC, and Fox. Nothing. The ultimate outcome will have nothing. This is something I've learned over the years. Like Football Sunday. I used to get really excited about, I used to watch pregame starting at 9 a.m. because I was really interested. I wanted people to say that my team was going to win. And then over a few years, I realized it doesn't matter what those people say. They play a game. And sometimes people say your team's going to win and they magically lose. And vice versa. And now I've freed up 3 hours in the morning on Sundays because I watch none of it because it doesn't matter. What the people on the panels say about the games don't matter. The games have to be played. And for the next 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, to anybody listening, don't get caught in this cycle because anything that's said on any panel, on any of these 24-hour news networks, not 1 second of it will have any effect whatsoever on whatever the outcome of this is. Take a walk. Enjoy yourselves. It's going to come down one way or another, and the sun's going to rise the next day, and you're going to be all right. It's going to be okay.
So what you're saying, Eric, is no soccer practices and no baseball practices will be canceled because of these panels. Because I think I should miss them.
No, don't miss them. They're still going to be there. Look at this, the 70s radio coming back to save Eric Von Hess. The westbound 747. That's about where I'm good. I don't know that I know they're da-dee-dee, da-dee-da-da-da, all I know is it never rains in California. I've been informed that today is a big anniversary for me. I had no idea.
Well,
but apparently Facebook is telling everybody that this is a big anniversary for me.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. 6 years ago today, I was kicked out of the band that I co-founded.
Oh.
And obviously, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Let's do this.
This is interesting.
Or...
No
thanks.
So you know how this works. Jared Yamamoto, he tosses headlines at me, and I decide whether or not I think,
this is interesting.
Or,
no thanks.
Dirty little secret is I pontificate either way.
You're your own whistleblower.
I you know what it turns out. No, don't try to. I know that's you, Autumn.
No.
Autumn, is that you?
No, I am as determined as you are to find out who that is.
Who's Jared?
Oh, yes, sir. No, sir. It was
Come
not
on,
me.
Jared.
Yes, sir, or no, sir?
Yes, sir. It was not me, sir.
Autumn, do you think it's him?
Of course it was. I mean,
no, ma'am.
You and I both know
Let me
it's
tell you
not
something.
me.
I'll put both of you on. I'm going to tell you right now. I will get to the bottom of this. Whistles shall not be blown in my studio. Yeah, Tim's not even here.
That's a good question.
He may be afraid.
Where's Tim?
You know, he's afraid to face the music. That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Where did that term start? Who's afraid to face the music? All right, stand there.
Yeah, I'm turning my back to it.
We're going to play the entire first Led Zeppelin album. Okay, I'll stand here. Does it seem that horrible? Face the music? It was a Cardi B. I don't know, maybe. All right, what do you got for me? Toss them at me.
Oh, can I tell you what it is? It's when the tradition of disgraced officers being drummed out of their regiment.
Ah, well, that's so because there's music, you get drummed out as you're walking away. You got to face the drummer.
There's that.
They should have said face the drummer.
Yeah, there's a secondary theory that it was actors who faced the music. They faced the orchestra pit when they went on stage. So maybe if you're afraid to face the music, then you have like stage fright. Or you're scared, I guess.
Yeah. You ever get stage fright, Jared Yamamoto?
No.
I didn't think so. You're not. You really don't really trust. You know.
I don't think too much about anything. Sorry, Jared.
That's kind of what I was.
Hey, win or lose, we lose.
That's kind of where I was going. I didn't see you being that reflective at all. To be.
I used to, but once you've been in this business as long as I have now, you're a
30,
seasoned veteran like
30
I am
years
now.
old. He's been in this business a good long time.
I'm okay. Actually, you know what? I have a true story about this weekend.
Yeah.
I was more nervous.
This is a very recent true story if it happened this weekend.
It happened this weekend on Saturday. I was more nervous to volunteer at the Greek festival.
Yeah, because your girlfriend, it's a big fraud because 23andMe has revealed that she, in fact, is not Greek. She is Italian.
And to stay tight-lipped about a story like that was so hard. So hard. I couldn't do it.
No, doesn't just affect her. It affects everybody that you see that has her last name.
Yes.
Frauds.
They are. All of them for this outrage.
They're Italian.
Fraud.
Yeah, they're Italians, and they won't admit it.
And
Sick and tired of people not admitting their Italianness.
It is ridiculous. Italian
it's nothing to be ashamed of.
It's not. It's not. You got a lot of great Italians.
Yeah.
Dr. Joe.
Christopher Columbus. He's taken a few knocks over the last few years, but I mean, come on. He supposedly discovered the country.
He did some important
things. At least in
things.
our mythology, he started the country.
But the thing that I was most terrified about was just doing practical skills, like working an iPad cash register like that. I'm just not good at that kind of stuff.
Well, you were doing the coffees at the Greek thing.
So I thought
POS?
I was lucky that I did not have to be the checkout cashier at the end because, doing the math at the end, making sure I'm counting the money right.
You're not very smart.
Well, that, and then also, I'm just not good at that stuff.
Okay, so you have 2 coffees, $1.50 each.
Okay, hold on. Let me ring that up. Let me ring that up.
Sir, can you hurry up, please? Sir.
So then that's half of $1.
Sir, there's crying babies.
Some people love this show, and they would sit there and talk to him, and then the people behind him that didn't like them or just didn't know about the show were getting angry because it was holding up the Greek coffee line.
Yeah. Which I could make a mean cup of green coffee.
Did you throw a headline at me? Did I ignore it?
No. Here you go. All right, so you were mentioning the whistleblowing stuff, so I've got a headline for that.
I'll find you.
This is from The Hill.
Yeah.
Joe Biden's campaign has called on news executives to stop booking Rudy Giuliani as a guest on their news programs. This is interesting.
I say, this is interesting because I'm wondering why it wasn't in campaign trail mix.
It may have been in campaign trail mix.
So you're pulling it over here. Let me just say that, of course, this is interesting. It's amazing that you could be this just brazen about something like this. They have they're not upset. It's not like something that was revealed. They released this to all the press and said, look, we think that you should not have Rudy Giuliani on anymore on any of your shows because he's obviously lying. I love this. I love that CNN and MSNBC have decided that they're going to be the cops and they're going to tell you who's lying. And when Giuliani's talking, a little thing comes up on the screen. It talks about how this hasn't been proven and that hasn't been proven because apparently the way Giuliani's lying, it's like no other politician who ever appears on CNN or MSNBC. No, this is so outside of the norm that we have to get in there. And so they're already doing that, and that's why the Biden campaign saw an opportunity to say, hey, you just shouldn't have Giuliani on at all. Now, there's another part of it where they say, if you're going to have him on, he's always going after our candidate, so you should have somebody from our side on. And then I think CNN and MSNBC, boy, they hardly have anybody from the Biden point of view on.
No,
now do they?
Not at all.
God forbid there's 10 minutes with somebody else because a different point of view. Isn't everything else, all the rest of the programming, the response to Giuliani being on? And vice versa with lefties on Fox.
Well, and that's why ABC was so brave to have Rudy Giuliani on with George Stephanopoulos on Sunday.
Well, first of all, he's comedy gold. When you have him on. The guy there's no 0 to 60 now with Giuliani. It's just every time he's on, it's just immediately yelling and hyperbole and you're not even this, that's what you want.
So this time he had actual affidavits with him, and he's pointing at it and showing George
he's going down the wrong road. I'm telling conservatives there is no need to prove that Hunter Biden did something illegal or improper. I don't know why this is the truth. Is the prosecutor that was fired, a lot of people thought he was going too soft on the investigation, not the other way around. But it doesn't matter. Why can't you see this? The analog is that Biden has admitted to doing exactly the same thing. It doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter if Hunter Biden had never been born. That's not what you have on him in this situation. What you have on Biden is that he's admitting to threatening Ukrainian authorities by withholding $1 billion, and it doesn't matter why, because we're told anybody who does this is putting our foreign policy in jeopardy. And by the way, the vice president can't do a damn thing the president doesn't say okay to. So what's the difference between the president saying the vice president to muscle Ukraine by withholding funds, or our president doing it? Or are you saying, well, just because there was a rival involved, that's what makes this bad? Is that what you're saying, Democrats? That outside of this, yeah, you can go and threaten to withhold money? Because I want to know. I want clarity. I want to know what's right and what's wrong. Is it only wrong because Hunter Biden and Joe Biden were involved? Because my understanding is what you're saying is it's just wrong for a president to withhold funds that were already voted on by the Congress in a bipartisan fashion based on we want something changed over there. If that's the problem, then that's what Biden did. To all my conservatives friends, get off the Giuliani kick. You have no need to prove that what Hunter Biden did was wrong. You can just get Democrats and independents to ask Joe Biden the question, which part of hope and change was your son getting rich by being on boards? Can I tell you that being on a board for any corporation anywhere, unless you're somebody who was involved in the corporation, is almost always BS. You know, at the time that O.J. Simpson went down, he was on like 8 different boards. He didn't know a damn thing about any of them. You put people on your board who are generally liked or famous so they can spread the word of your board. That's what Hunter Biden was doing on this board. Was it illegal? Probably not. But what independents and Democrats have to ask Joe Biden is, what part of hope and change is the fact that your son gets a $50,000 a month job to do nothing but put his, and by the way, your last name, and connect it to this business? It doesn't have to be illegal. This is politics. Impeachment is politics. Conservatives, your job is to persuade people that they should re-elect your favorite candidate. And the leftists, your job is to persuade people that they shouldn't do that. Just concentrate on what you need. What I'm telling conservatives is you're on a wild goose chase. Stop watching Lou Dobbs. Stop with who are the two lawyers? Now they're finding out, the New York Times is reporting that the two lawyers, husband and wife, who are always on Lou Dobbs, they and Rudy Giuliani have been overdoing this, what could be called shadow government stuff, certainly Oppo research. So get out of the legalities, get into the politics. The politics are, it doesn't look good for Joe Biden. Concentrate on that. What are you going to spend the next 6 months trying to prove a case that prosecutors in Ukraine couldn't prove 3 years ago? How do people get so silly? It's politics. Win with the political message.
Well, here's Giuliani sparring with George Stephanopoulos.
I bet it got crazy.
The Biden people say that he wasn't investigating Hunter Biden at the time. He says under oath that he was.
But as you know, I know he says that under oath.
He must not be. We don't even know him. He must not be telling the truth.
We know that Vice President Biden was part of an international effort, was part of a government-wide effort to help push the prosecutor out because
the name here was Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr. And it said that the president of the Ukraine asked me to resign due to pressure from the U.S. presidential administration. The truth is that I was forced out because I was leading a wide-ranging corruption probe into Burisma Holdings and Joe Biden's son. That's under oath.
But that's not true. The truth is he was pushed out because a lot of people thought he was being too soft on the company. And again, it doesn't matter. Now, people listen to me and go, no, that's not true. Really? What's your source? Outside of Fox News and talk radio, I would ask you, what's your source? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The moral question is, why is this kid getting a job where he doesn't have to do anything based on his last name, based on his political connections, based on the fact that he's the son of the vice president? That's the political question. I can't run your campaign for you. But if you're just going to go round and round and round on the Hunter Biden thing, I think you're going to come up a loser. That's my opinion. That's not the road to victory. You got to stop following these. What's that guy's name? Joe de Geneva or whatever, and his wife Victoria Tensing. They're angry people who want revenge. If you want to win, almost the most certain way to not win is to go into the game thinking about revenge or anything along those lines. Just play the game as the rules of the game are laid out, and you can win.
Warning! Do not chug milk before listening, because you will laugh out loud.
Milk was a bad choice.
Eric and the Doctrinaires, mornings at 9. Mark Aram, evenings at 6 on 95.5 WSB.
Alan has told me we're going to play this whole album. Starting right now. So I'm just going to step back, and you're just going to have to face the music. All right, now... go ahead and give me another headline. We'll see how I respond.
You were very interested in that last one.
I know. We only did one headline.
So let's try this one.
What a blowhard I am sometimes. Just rant. Shut up, Von Haessler. Go ahead.
This is from CNN Health. He says he became addicted to porn at age 12. This is what he wants his parents to know.
No, thanks.
Now, hold on. You're not talking about it. She's older now.
Yes.
Is this a thing they're doing on CNN now?
They did it last night. It was on that This Is Life with Lisa Ling.
Oh, This Is Life.
Yes.
I always have these shows, all these names are so profound. This is, really? If I watch that, I will learn the meaning of life?
This is what life is, Eric, for these people.
Well, this is life. What do you mean? I mean, I've lived life.
You don't really know.
What does Lisa Ling know about life?
That's your show.
Yeah, that's my show. That's going to be my show. What does Lisa Ling know about life?
I was a journalist, and my sister was captured by North Koreans.
Was she the one, or was her sister? I can't remember which one. I can't remember which one. But
sister.
All right, this is life.
Yeah.
And what they went and asked people when
is the theme song? That's life.
No, it's This Is Life.
That's how you lived it. Yeah.
This is life. That's how.
So they had a panel of middle schoolers and high schoolers.
For heaven's sakes. Talking about the first time they saw porn?
Yeah, and they were saying that sex education in high school and middle school is atrocious, and they should talk about not only the downside of sex, but also the good side, the pleasure in sex as well, too, was at least in the promo that I saw.
Well, the adults should teach kids in school about the pleasure of sex. We put people in jail for that kind of behavior. Hour 3 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. I was wondering as you see, because you told me that on CNN somebody was saying, or MSNBC, Pelosi should impeach the president every day. She looks glowing or something.
Yeah, she's glowing. She looks lovely.
Because before she went out there, she had whatever her latest Botox treatment is. You think, this is a question I want to know. Do you think it's possible, because it's D.C., think it's possible that Pelosi and Biden have the same Botox administrator?
Probably.
Is that what they call? I would call them administrators.
Administrators?
Right? Somebody has to shoot the needle into your face.
Sure, not a nurse or.
Yeah, is that how it's done? When you shoot, they said still shoot needles into your face.
Oh yeah.
Haven't they worked that down to some sort of cream, some sort of balm?
You would hope so. It looked like Pelosi had been stretched instead of usually she's stretched from left to right on the face.
Yeah.
But it looked like her eyebrows were really high up on her forehead. Like she got stretched up to down.
It's kind of like when you change a tire. You don't want to, you want to put a nut on one part, you don't
you don't want to tighten one nut all the way.
Yeah, you can't keep stretching in the same direction. You got to pull the other way every once in a while. Otherwise, you'll end up looking like a rectangle.
I follow you.
Understanding. But I just wanted, like, Biden, because Biden, they both have good Botox people. You got to say that. Sometimes Biden, he'll show up and he doesn't look a day over 73. Good work. You have some open mics?
Yes. These are all from the WSB radio app, where you out there can sign up for
out there? Are you talking to me out there?
I'm not talking to you, Eric.
You're talking about the listeners.
I'm talking to the listeners out there.
I'm the host.
Yes.
There's no need for me. I got a microphone every day.
You can't sign up for the $800 in free gas that we're giving away at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So use that WSB radio app like these smart listeners that left us open mics did.
This guy's a shill. He's shilling for the WSB.
Hey,
always paying you.
Always love the 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
You're getting paid. I knew it. I knew it. All right.
Here's some open mics.
I may be asking somewhat of an ignorant question.
It's okay.
But if they go through with the impeachment proceedings and a vote is held, does that disqualify Trump for running for re-election?
You know what they say, no question is ignorant. However, that one does get to the line. But no, it's not ignorant to ask that question. The answer is no. Impeachment is a process of the House of Representatives. It's a political process. If this is the truth, if the president accidentally knocked over a very famous vase or vase and broke it, and it was given to us by somebody in 1795 or something, and he was just being a moron and just knocked it over. If you had enough votes in the House of Representatives, you could impeach on that. Now, here's the thing. Now, Eric, why is it in the House of Representatives? Because they are the people who face the voters the most. Every 2 years, every single person in the House of Representatives is up for election. So because it's every 2 years with everybody, now they can, hey, I just think it was terrible when the president smashed that vase or vase. I feel like I'm being elitist when I say vase, but I feel like a moron when I say vase.
I think if it's an expensive place for your flowers, it's a vase.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a priceless vase.
It's a priceless vase.
Yes.
Then that's impeachable.
I just call
that's what you're saying.
I just call it a nice pot.
It's a nice pot. If you think it's a nice pot. Whatever.
Put my flowers in something.
Whatever.
A bucket.
Whatever that is. If you want to say to your voters, he knocked over that bucket and I thought it was impeachable. See that it's all political, because you then have to turn to your voters within 2 years and be judged upon it. So impeachment is completely a creature of the House of Representatives. What's impeachable is defined by what a majority, or what is needed, 218, whatever is needed in the House of Representatives, the votes that you need for impeachment. Anything you get those votes on, the Constitution doesn't stop the House of Representatives. You can, when you meet them at the polling booth the next time, but it's a creature of the House of Representatives. It doesn't mean he's removed. It means he's indicted, essentially, and then the trial happens in the Senate. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is the judge. He sits there. The Democrats in the House and Senate, I believe, both have prosecutors who prosecute the case. These are senators and members of the House, and the same thing is done. The president's party picks the people who will defend the president, be the defense, and then they have a trial, and then the jury is the entire Senate. And I believe he needs 70...
Two-thirds.
Two-thirds. I think right now would be about, 70?
Yeah, right around there, yes.
If they say it with 100, if they just said 3/4, it'd be easier. I feel like. The Constitution with its 2/3 here and it's 3/4 there, and it's just, come on.
I don't know what those numbers mean.
Settle down.
You can blame Jefferson.
Settle on something. I blame Jefferson for a lot.
I've got some more open mics for you, Eric.
All this hemp that's going around this country. I blame it all on Jeff. Have you noticed with Jefferson, no matter, this guy left so many quotes that what I've found in my life is that no matter what your politics is, left, right, extreme left, everybody can find a quote from Jefferson that backs up their point of view.
Yes, that is so true.
Very sly, Tommy. Think anybody ever called him Tommy?
Maybe his mom.
Hey, Tommy Jefferson.
Tommy J.
Tommy J.
Like Tom Brady. You think anybody ever called him Tom Terrific? After he whipped off that Declaration of Independence. All right, Tom Terrific.
Steve Fleshman, Knoxville, Tennessee. I know who your whistleblower is.
Stop for
It's
1
Fred
second.
Blank.
I would like to say that I like the way that guy started his. I think everybody should do this from now on. Give us your name and your city of origin. All right, go ahead.
Steve Fleshman, Knoxville, Tennessee. I know who your whistleblower is. It's Fred Blankenship.
Uh-oh.
I would never believe it.
No.
I would never believe it.
Wait a minute. That would be the perfect crime because we would never suspect him.
Is that you, Jared?
No, sir. No, Mr. Von Haessler.
Jared,
Absolutely
come
not.
on.
No, sir.
Hey, you're
Eric,
sounding,
aren't you sick of this?
No, I think you're sounding very defensive. I think you're being a little. I'm
not defensive.
Yeah, about you being. I think it's you. I don't know.
Oh,
right now,
Eric,
you know who it's
me.
not? No, it's not Fred Blankenship.
He's perfect.
He's simply too good. I'll leave it there. He's simply too good.
You know, even if he was the whistleblower, we wouldn't hear the whistle. He's that good.
Yeah, not like this jerk. I will find you. I will out you. I feel like there's two whistleblowers here. One is very confident. And then there's another guy that's just kind of tagging along. And let me tell you something. I hope you're happy. I hope you're laughing. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I will find you, Jared Yamamoto.
No, sir.
Autumn Fisher.
No.
Tim Andrews, who isn't here today, but who knows? Who knows?
Jared, right? It's probably Tim.
Yeah, probably is Tim, of course.
You know what? I forgot. You know what? He mentioned last week that he was out shopping for a new whistle. Do you remember that, Jared?
I do remember that. I do remember that. He mentioned that he wanted to do
Fisher, I think you doth protest too much. Do you have another open mic, or do you move on?
I do. This person's being a little critical of you, so just fasten your seatbelt and get ready for it.
I'm really in the mood.
Be ready. It's a little
After
loud,
the way
too.
the Falcons were last night. I got to deal with this.
This is Jason from Delanago with a message for Eric Von Haessler.
Yes, sir.
Eating is not overrated. Food is an amazing part of living. You just have the palate of a child. Trust me, Eric, when you try more things besides hamburgers, hot dogs, and grilled cheese sandwiches, life is amazing. I hope you come to the right side. Love your show. You guys do a great job. Thank you.
First of all, how does grilled cheese with tomato soup not make life amazing? Secondly, my point with eating is overrated as I've lost this weight isn't about when you sit down and eat meals. It's about all that in-between stuff where I was just sitting on my couch at 4 o'clock and somehow convinced myself that dusting off 3/4, that's right, founders, 3/4 of a bag of potato chips had any kind of value whatsoever. It had no value other than making me larger. Didn't make me feel better. Didn't necessarily satiate my hunger because I don't know why I was eating. And also ice cream. Again, I'll put it out there. Ice cream shouldn't be in your home unless it's somebody's birthday. There's a special occasion. Ice cream should be at parlors. It should be in a place where you go, hey, you know what? We're taking a walk. It's a beautiful day. Let's get some ice cream. Autumn, you know the last ice cream I had?
Yes, I do.
In Maryland, with you guys.
In Baltimore.
In Baltimore at an ice cream parlor. You shouldn't have it in your house. This is the excesses of what a great country we live in, and but it's not good for your body to have ice cream in your house so that every time someone breaks up with you, you can sit there and gain 5 pounds, or just anything. We drink Coca-Cola now. When I was a kid, it was a treat. It was a treat. We had it sometimes in the garage or something, but you couldn't touch it. And I come from a time where when your parents said don't touch it, let me tell you something. You had already learned your lesson 4 times. You don't touch it. And it's like a big deal. Hey, we're having some Coca-Cola.
So you advocating for a soda bar too?
A ban?
No,
a soda bar would be a
like
place.
a soda
I'm saying like a soda parlor. Wasn't they called like a pop bar or something like that they used to go to?
Yeah, they used to go to pop bars all the time. Soda bars. No, you can have it. I mean, my point is, it was in the home, but we only drank it every once in a while. And I think it should be a special occasion. Soda is not something that you're supposed to drink every day. People have completely lost this concept any more than you're supposed to drink beer every day or wine every day. The only thing you should drink every day is water, depending on what municipality you live in. If you're near Detroit, I'd stick with the soda. But for the rest of us, and I just think we have such excess. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be a kid now. I would imagine, with my kids, they were drinking soda constantly. Because I'll come on here and say whatever, but I'm a horrible parent.
Yeah, no
discipline. Just like everyone else. Yeah. Get the iPad and the soda. Get out of my face.
Oh, yeah, that's what Ellie's doing now.
So my kids drank too much soda, but so I'm not talking about that kind of eating where you're sitting down for a meal and it's a good meal. And yes, I have a very narrow palate. I'll admit that. But just talking about all that extra stuff in between. Mm-hmm. When people bring donuts and stuff here, everybody goes and eats it. And I'm convinced it's just out of habit. Nobody walks away going, thank goodness for that donut. Man, I wouldn't have made it through.
You were famished.
I was famished. I wouldn't have made it through. No, it's just we work in the newsroom.
You're driven.
Sometimes people bring food into the newsroom. When they do that, we all go eat it. There's nothing in there about being hungry. and where food comes in, even if you have a great palate, it's best when you're when you're actually hungry and you're satisfying that rather than just eating because, I don't know, there's nothing else to do. Jared, I learned a long time ago in broadcasting school, radio host school, they said, never talk about dreams on the air. All that being true, what is it you were telling me you dreamt last night?
Oh, it was so vivid and so bizarre, Eric, but your wife is currently in England
Yes,
now,
she is.
And I guess the dream fast-forwarded a couple weeks. She had come back from England and announced to you that she was breaking up with you and divorcing you. And you came in, and you didn't tell us until it was 15 minutes prior to the show, so I guess 8:45 in the morning.
So this was one of those tension dreams where, like, are we going to be able to get the show on the air?
Yes, and you were so indecisive about whether you wanted to go on the air or not. You kept saying, well, it's showbiz, Jared. We definitely need to do the show. We definitely need to do it. We need to go on the air.
But it does sound like me in your dreams. I got to say, it's a reasonable facsimile of me.
But then you would say just after that, but I'm so hurt. I'm so distraught right now. I don't know if I should do it. I should play we should probably play a best of. We should do a best of and play that instead.
Of course I would do the show.
And I'm going back and forth. I'm like, well, I'm feeling for you because I'm like, man, I can't imagine what he's going through. But it was a radio nightmare because I didn't know what to do in that situation.
Do you know how many jokes I have built up about my wife that I've never told? Of course I would go on the air that day.
That would be your only chance.
My gold moment. Once the divorce has already been filed, oh my goodness.
This dream was so vivid, though. Yeah. I mean, I felt like I was...
What are you saying? You think you're Nostradamus here? My wife doesn't come back for a few days.
No. I hope it doesn't happen.
You got me walking on eggshells.
This is it. He's predicting it.
It's a posse. He could be seeing the future here.
I was genuinely worried about you.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Me, single at 55, you should be worried about that. I probably wouldn't live to be 60. All right. Let's bring it home. Last half hour of the radio side of things for the first day of the week. I'm going to get to your pub crawl in a moment, but you were just telling about a dream that you had that was about me supposedly getting a divorce and not knowing whether or not I wanted to go on the air right before the show.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't think you've ever been in one of my dreams. Have I ever told you that which seems weird to me because I have stress dreams about work but I don't think you've ever actually made an appearance.
Well, because I don't stress you out.
No, you don't. Your girlfriend's made a couple of appearances, but
I'm not going to ask about those dreams.
Of course, she was an accountant. She was doing it was all paperwork related.
Of course,
yeah.
I had a dream about you and Greg and Nick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold on. Let's do that in the podcast because we've already talked about one dream. I was really pushing people. We'll hold that as a tease for the podcast 30. Okay. If you want to know what Greg, myself, and who else?
Nick
did to Autumn in her dream, tune in to the podcast 30 day. How's that for a tease?
I love it.
Sex sells. It doesn't matter whether you give it.
I can't wait.
It doesn't
to
matter.
tell you.
It doesn't matter if it turns out they had nothing to do with sex. It's just in the tease. That's why they call it a tease. It's all about sex. Yeah.
All available on the Von Haessler Doctrine Facebook page.
Oh, look at you. Still getting paid.
Get that.
I love it. Such a shill. All right. What do you got? Open mics?
Yeah, I have open mics from the WSB radio app.
I know why your voice went up like that, because you want to talk about the pub crawl on Friday.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out. We had a wonderful time, English Nick and I, out in the Highlands. And
these are people who all paid money to do a pub crawl with you and English Nick. This was all donated to Children's Hospital Healthcare, of Atlanta. And this was, now we've done everything that was out there, right? We had our last lunch. You
That's
did the
right.
pub crawl. And everybody that we dealt with, all these donors were just fantastic all the way around.
Just wonderful people. And, nobody got to, I guess, an extreme level or anything like that. But Nick and I were...
You guys are always inviting me to the pub crawl, and one of the reasons I don't... one thing is I want to keep the $2,000 lunch having something. If I come to the pub crawl, then...
Right.
So I want to keep that in there. But the other side of it is, when people get drunk, even if they love you, they can let you know what they really think.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really need to be, early, first couple of pubs, you're awesome. And then later on, about 10:30 at night, we get to the fourth pub, and somebody will turn to me and go, you don't know what real work is, now do you? And then we're off to the races.
Never worked a hard day in your life.
I mean, you're funny and everything, but you don't work like us.
By 10:30, you know who the true pub champs are at that point, because
I worry about people I hope everybody Ubers and Lyfts and...
Yes, everyone's very safe. They carpool together. A lot of people bought in groups this year, which is the way to do it. I think that's
so 5 or 6 people will come together.
That's smart.
That's smart. It is smart.
Everyone was making
Clark
friends.
Howard.
It's drink smart. It's drink smart.
There's book smart, street smart, and drink smart.
You got to be cocktail smart.
Ooh.
I don't know how to do it properly.
Sauce smart.
Now you have open mics for me?
Yes.
So thanks to everybody.
Yes, big thank you to all those out there. These are open mics from the WSB radio app.
Well, hold on. You always say that, but that's the only place to leave an open mic.
Well, some people leave us Facebook messages.
Yeah.
And
that's for mailbag.
Yeah,
you got to make sure this is for open mics.
But you can now leave a voice message through Facebook Messenger.
Oh, I see.
And so people get confused. They think that that's the open mic.
People are still on Facebook, huh?
Yeah, believe it or not. Surprisingly enough.
Anybody under 40?
I haven't collected the data in a while.
You don't need to.
In reference to the Micro Machine Ubers in Buckhead, the only thing that might make sense there is if they were replacing the buses. You see these gigantic buses that should hold like 50 people that have 2 people sitting in them, driving all around town, slowing traffic down. If they get to these little minivans or something for people that ride the buses, that'd be huge.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. If you could take the buses end up... Now, I know that this is just in my frustration when I'm driving through Buckhead or really anywhere down Roswell Road or Peachtree or any of these. The buses are such an annoyance. Now, I guess in my mind, I have to think, well, if everybody on that bus was in a car, the traffic would be worse. But maybe they still wouldn't be able to afford a car. So maybe they just would be stuck without a job and collecting unemployment. I don't know. I don't know how many people are on the bus as a choice. I think so. Most people are on the bus because they have to be on the bus. I don't know how many people are on the bus because they have a car they could drive, they decide not to. I don't know. But it is annoying when you get behind a bus in something close to rush hour or anything. And you notice that as soon as there is a bus, everybody speeds up to try to get around the bus before. It's actually kind of dangerous because you want to get around the bus before the next stop. This goes for school buses, too. It's also kind of dangerous. Like you see a school bus and you think, oh, no, I got to get around this thing before the next stop. And then everybody is doing this drag race. It's kind of dangerous.
Well, the MARTA buses, too, are almost too big for the lanes in downtown and midtown and Buckhead. So they take up their entire lane, plus they go into the second lane next to them.
Hey,
so
thin them up is what I say. Double-decker them. Double-decker them and thin them up.
That's what we got to do. We got to change those buses around.
They're talking about, put more seats in. Make people uncomfortable. They do it on planes.
Ugh, that's true.
What can't happen on bus?
Let's make it all uncomfortable. Every mode of transportation we can.
You know what? I think planes, they should have those straps where you can just stand the whole ride.
It's a Good idea.
A little less. Costs a little less. I'd stand there the whole time.
You lower the risk of blood clots in your legs.
Somewhere like on a 4-hour flight to Los Angeles, I might get or an international flight might get a little
18 hours of
weary.
Implement them on the flights to Orlando and stuff. The easy ones, the hour
easy
flight.
ones.
Yeah,
no. I want to see who the champs are. I want to see you take the strap to Australia. What's that, 14 hours, 15 hours?
Just one guy holding that strap with a newspaper in one hand.
Yeah. And he just keeps on reading until he gets to Australia. Hope he doesn't get motion sickness. I don't know about you, but I can't read in a vehicle.
No, but in an airplane, it's different.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know if I'm standing. I'm not so sure. You're more susceptible to the weaving, the bobbing and the weaving of the aircraft.
I don't get motion sickness.
Oh, well, why don't you just brag about it?
I don't understand because I don't get motion sickness.
If I look back when there were maps and stuff, and now even the apps, if you're looking, if I look down even just for a moment and read one sentence while I'm riding or driving, I could lose it all. I could lose my mind.
That's because you're weak.
Well, that's true. Do you have allergies?
Yeah.
I don't have those.
I have asthma, too.
This here body was built tougher than that. Just the nausea, you know.
And I'm on antidepressant. I mean, I'm a mess.
Oh, you're just barely making. Oh, she's on antidepressants. She's just okay. Just drug,
I have a sore throat this morning.
Drug me up and drag me to the finish line.
She's slowly turning into Greg. She's turning into a female Greg.
Doesn't sound like
Isn't that what it is? Isn't that what it is? Drug me up and drag me to the finish line.
Drug me up and drag me to hell.
I can't handle this life anymore. Just drug me up, drag me to the finish line. We'll have a couple good Christmases. We'll get a couple good Christmases out of it.
How many more Christmases do I have?
Well,
left?
Quite a few if you.
Are you sure?
You play your cards right.
Darn.
We all get hit by a bus, though. I mean, we all could get hit by a bus, I should say.
Now, this next open micer on Friday.
Are we still doing open mics? My goodness.
Yeah, we just have a lot of them. Yeah. Now, this guy, this gentleman is upset because on Thursday last week, the news broke about Georgia Tech's basketball team breaking all these recruiting violations.
They got in trouble with the NCAA.
They took
They're not going to be able to go to March Madness this year.
They're not.
You had your hopes pinned on that.
They have a complete postseason ban, and that's among the many restrictions that got put on the program for taking one of their recruits to a strip club. And we did a Georgia Tech sports update.
Yeah,
and
I did this update where all that music says we can't do it here.
Oh my gosh, this open micer, you won't believe what he has to say. Oh,
they get mad?
It's unbelievable what he has to say.
You know what it is? It's like, Haessler, I love it when your jokes hit upon people that I don't like. And but whenever, every once in a while, when the spotlight gets turned toward me, hey, I can't stand this show. Give blood? Well, Alan Hunt, digging deep. Good work, my friend. Pete Townsend messed up on this one. He should have given it to Roger Daltrey. Should have done it as a Who album. Would have been even better, but it's a good album. I was looking here. Was Dr. Joe on last night?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm looking at the screener here because he takes calls.
Yeah.
And I guess what's left here is his last calls. And I guess his last call was, what other foods can people eat for melatonin besides baked potatoes? We all know baked potatoes.
Well, yeah.
We all know that. But what else?
Well, you ate a whole Thanksgiving turkey.
How many baked potatoes do you have to eat to fall asleep? These
you only have to eat 17 baked potatoes.
Well, that's a good idea, health-wise. All right, what do you got for me?
I still have this open mic. This gentleman was upset about the Georgia Tech scandal that we brought up.
Oh, that's right.
Brought up on the air.
Should I give an example of my Georgia Tech update? Because he was upset. He was upset because he said, probably correctly, that the only time we talk about Georgia Tech is when they have problems like this, like the NCAA, the ban on the postseason. And so I thought, well, if we're fair and balanced, we should, from time to time, give a Georgia Tech update. All right, it's your Georgia Tech sports update. Once again, all of our teams lost. Back to you, Jim. I don't know who Jim is, but I always say that. Back to you, Jim.
Yep.
In this open mic.
So he heard that, and he was upset because he loves all the comedy when it lands somewhere else, but he's a Tech graduate probably, right?
Relax. Sounds like it.
Relax.
Hey, I just heard the Georgia Tech update on the Eric Von Haessler show.
Stop for one second. I am getting a little sick and tired of the Von Haessler doctrine being referred to as the Eric Von Haessler Show. And there's something afoot because, as you know, when you walk into my office, the little plate there doesn't say the Von Haessler Doctrine. It says the Eric Von Haessler Show.
Uh-oh.
So what are people hearing? It's called the Von Haessler Doctrine. You want to disagree with me? You're disagreeing with the Von Haessler Doctrine. You're not disagreeing with the Eric Von Haessler Show. And besides, if I did do it that way, I would call it a program. The Eric Von Haessler Program.
The
Not
Eric Von Haessler Program.
With 2 M's.
With an E at the end.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, I just heard the Georgia Tech update on the Eric Von Haessler Show.
No.
And I think that's good, but let's keep it fair and balanced. How about compared GPAs?
There you go.
Oh.
Now there you go.
Solid burn.
Alan Hunt, does that bother you? Huh? Does that bother you? He says he doesn't bother him.
See?
May bother
me.
He says that Georgia Tech people are smarter than UGA people. They scored 2 points Saturday, says Alan Hunt. So I guess that puts it all to rest. I don't care how smart you are. Hey, I've got blood.
Side I'm supposed to be on.
I've got blood at Georgia Tech, so I'm all for the campus. But let's face it, right now the sporting teams are in a little bit of a down.
And 95.5 WSB is the home of the Dogs.
What are you getting paid by this WSB? You never stop shilling.
He's a company man.
Hey, do you know what I found out about WSB?
What did you find out?
A buddy of mine. Don't be condescending. A buddy of mine.
What did you find out?
A buddy of mine.
You're so good at telling a story.
T. Sean Shannon, great comedy writer. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years. A really good friend of mine. And he called me up because he'd been watching this country music PBS thing. It's the same Civil War guy, baseball guy, Ken Burns. And I didn't watch it because I was thinking, I'm a little tired of his style. My friend called me up and said, you got to watch this. It's great. Which I'm going to start watching it. But it was my son, actually, yesterday told me that in, I don't know, one of the early episodes, they talk about WSB in the 1920s because apparently there was a fiddler who was on WSB in the 1920s, and hearing that fiddler on the radio, whoever this, I have not watched the country music, whoever this entrepreneur was, this producer, is when he realized, or she, it was a he, it was the 1920s, come on, let's be honest, was when they realized that that this is marketable. So some fiddler that was on WSB in the 1920s had something to do with the popularity or the industry that came to be known as the country music industry. And then you look at him all these years later, 2019, the best damn radio show in the history of history is on, the Von Haessler Doctrine. Not the Eric Von Haessler Show, the Von Haessler Doctrine. This WSB, they just hit on all cylinders decade after decade after decade. You got that fiddler in the 20s. You got this fiddler in the 2020s pretty soon. Wow, pretty soon we'll be in the 20s. Wow. We're going to look.
Yeah.
We got all these pictures here of these people who used to work in the 1930s and stuff at WSB. All I think about, sooner or later, our picture's going to be on the wall. It's going to be 80 years from now, and we're going to look just as out of it to those guys as these guys do to us. You know, they come to work. They're standing. There's like 5 guys around a microphone, all in suits and ties.
Yeah, and that weird microphone that had like it's a big circle, like a flat disc.
Yeah. I don't know what they did. Did they walk around? All right, you jump up to the mic now. I'm not sure, but they were all in like suits and ties. Everybody's 60.
Well, that's how they did their news weather traffic. The next guy came on.
That's right.
Just lined up.
It was triple team. They were just on one mic.
Peachtree Road reduced to half a lane.
Do you have more?
Yes, John Ossoff and his allies promised an ambitious new...
John Ossoff. Whenever you mention his name, the closeout music comes on. Doesn't want us to talk about John Ossoff.
Apparently not. I guess I'll have to wait till tomorrow.
You know what? If we can demand Trump's taxes, I want to demand Ossoff's medications. Because he has got the look of an Adderall-addled millennial. Now, I'm not saying it means he can't do it. Hey, maybe it'd be great because he'd really be focused on the job. But doesn't he look kind of like that Stepford wife, kind of Adderall?
Yes, he does.
I'm not alleging that. Don't come after me. We've been doing it right since the fiddler in the 1920s. So back off, Ossoff campaign. I'm not alleging anything. I'm just saying the guy looks to me. I'd just like to see his prescriptions, that's all.
Go after the Eric Von Haessler Show, not the Von Haessler Doctrine.
The Eric Von Haessler Show. Those people, write a complaint. Hey, that music means we're done on the radio side, but we're not done. We're going to do the podcast 30. How can people join us?
2 places, Eric. The Von Haessler Doctrine Facebook page or the WSB Radio Facebook page. There's a little red box. Click on them on either one of those Facebook pages. You can see us in the studio doing the show.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about John Ossoff. Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. All right, welcome to the podcast 30. I'm still here. I'm still Eric. J-Rad, rocking the tunes. Yeah, smooth. Whatever. Autumn Fisher, howdy to you. I guess English Nick will join us very soon. A couple questions here. This has to do with glasses. The life of glasses.
You mean like the glasses you drink out of, or glasses?
The glasses you use on your head to be able to see better.
Gotcha.
Or look at her cool glasses.
I just got these at the thrift store yesterday for $2.
Yeah, they look like they're worth at least $3.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, good work.
I got these for $4.
Wow, I don't know. I wonder why those cost more. It seems like the other.
I know these are plastic and horrible.
Yeah,
and these are actually kind of cool.
It all depends on the distribution and how many they made and what they sold.
I don't mean to brag, but these are 100% UV protection.
All right, let's check your privilege there, honey. Let's check your privilege.
Oh, are you not wearing sunglasses and being protected from the UV radiation? I am.
I am going to. I'm going to start calling white privilege honky privilege. It's got a better
honky priv.
It's got a better ring to it. So you're showing.
It's called honky tonk.
Yeah,
she's full of the honky tonk.
You're showing your honky privilege is what happens.
No.
Well, the best part is that you and I can't identify honky privilege. It has to be somebody else that identifies it, because obviously somebody else knows that we have.
We're too busy being honky and privileged to recognize our honky privilege.
That's exactly
somebody
what it is.
Else who really wakes up and hates us before they meet us.
Yeah.
Should be the ones, the objective people who decide that whether or not we are displaying.
Well, they're more enlightened than we are. They've seen more things.
Honky privilege.
Yeah.
I'm more enlightened than you both.
Yeah, because you
look at my glasses.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You're more of a fashionista. Does that make you more enlightened? So my question about glasses is, do your glasses at one point become more prone to being smudgy? Because my glasses lately, it's just they're always smudgy, and I clean them, and they quickly get turned back. And when I first had the glasses, that didn't happen all the time, and it seems weird to me that it's glass. Why would it suddenly become more susceptible to smudge?
They probably put a coating on it when you first got it, and then over time that's worn off.
Oh, good. I thought my hands were getting greasier.
I mean,
really
maybe that's happening. You're going through menopause.
I'm not going.
I mean, your hormones are changing.
Yeah, good. My hands are always greasy.
Mm-hmm. Hey, your diet has changed.
That's right.
Honestly, that could have something to do with it.
So all those sunflower oils are coming through my fingertips and getting on my. But it's embarrassing because we've been meeting a lot of fans lately and going to lunch and all this sort of stuff. And then when it's over, I notice that my glasses are smudged, and I think I would judge me for that. Mm-hmm. If I was sitting next to me, I would judge.
Who is this weird old man?
Yeah, it's like smudgy glasses says, well, you can't be very hygienic.
When we sat down with Chris and Grace, they were two great listeners that spent the $2,000, or Chris spent the $2,000 for the individual lunch. The first thing that Eric said when he arrived, because Tim, English Nick, and I were all there early, the first thing that he said was, I'm sorry about my messy hair. I'm sorry. As he was sitting down.
As I was sitting
which
down.
Is quite an entrance when you're coming in there.
My hair was kind of all over the place. Hey, I make an entrance when I come in. I will tell you this. If anything, when people meet with us, when fans meet with us, if anything, in negative terms, they might walk away thinking that maybe that guy was too much. But I never ignore people. Like, I come in, I'm going to start the conversation. I'm going to get things going. Why not?
No, you are really good with people.
Yeah, self-deprecating humor is usually a good way to get people.
Well, sorry, I'm a real piece of crap. I'm sorry, guys.
I don't know why
you guys shouldn't have spent this money. I don't know why you're here. I'm so stupid.
And then people feel relaxed and comfortable, right? This guy's not full of
totally.
himself.
They're not like, you're fine. I
find
don't know
it
what's
disconcerting. All right. Oh, yeah, Jared.
That's my daughter.
Yeah, she's not going to make it through this half hour. She's not going to make it through this half hour.
I know. She was already asking for lunch. I was like, I got 30 minutes, babe.
Children will try to ruin everything.
Yeah.
So that's just the way that it is.
Why do you think I don't have any kids now?
Because you haven't started. You haven't tried. You haven't felt the pressure. The pressure hasn't been put on. You haven't met somebody like Autumn who said, impregnate me or just don't bother.
Do it.
Yeah. She wanted
Give
kids.
it to me.
You got your great girlfriend. She's confused about her ethnicity, obviously, but she knows that she's not ready for kids yet, and you love that. But she's a little bit younger than you, right? She's like 3 years younger than you.
Yeah, she's 3 years younger than me.
Okay, so you get to 33, she gets to 30. 30 is about...
Well, at that point, don't I need to trade her in for a younger model?
Well, you're going to have to. Because
up top, guys.
I'm going to tell you this. 30 is that line. Because women start thinking, okay, either I'm going to get this done or I'm not. And if I have kids when I'm 31 or 32, they're at least 8, 9 years old when I'm 40, as opposed to, doing it when I'm 38. And, you want that period in your 50s. Well, women don't get that. You want that time in the 50s where the kids are kind of grown up and you can relax. You don't want to start too late. So Christina will start feeling that body clock and will start putting the pressure on you when she turns 30.
Okay.
How old is she?
She's 28,
27 now.
27.
All right.
You still got a couple years of fun before the kids come along and ruin everything. Or you can walk away. Well, you can walk away. You can say, hey, go have your kids with somebody else. And you will always be the most fun and the great, love of her life, but she will have had to move on to somebody nice, good enough person to give her some kids.
Wow.
A guy that, maybe
I've seen this before.
Maybe a nice accountant or something like that.
Yeah, somebody who can provide.
Yeah.
It's his job to have the right wallet. It's her job to have birth and hips. You put those together, and you've got a stable family, right?
She has to be as fit as she can be before you start having the kids. Because you don't want to start, in the plus.
Well, that's what Jared. I don't know with the accountant that she's going to marry. That may not be true. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Usually the accountant might spring at the opportunity to have kids then, because he might be shy and not willing to go out and meet people.
Oh, no, those days are over. That's going to be for the rest of her life. She remembers that you were that her person in her life. And then, the sensible guy came along and decided to, take care of her for the rest of her life. And, you have to make a choice. She has to make a choice. You don't want
And then
kids.
where will Jared be? Will he be,
she's still going to go
pining and saying, like, this is the one
I'll
that
be the cool
I should
Uncle
have
Jared
committed
to all my
to.
friends that all my friends that have kids now. I'll be the cool.
You're going to have kids, but you're going to be somebody who doesn't want them until your late 30s or early 40s. Not thinking about the fact then you'll be 60 before you get some time back in.
And you'll
yourself.
hate it.
That's all right.
At
Will
60?
you hate it? It's because you hate your kids. Everybody doesn't hate their kids.
I don't hate my kids. I love you, Ellie.
Invite her to get back involved. That's smart. So, I think that's the way it's going to go down. Now, the question is, will you raise your children as Italians or Greeks?
That's a good question. Yeah. Or Japanese or Bolivian.
Because Italians are Catholics. I don't know many Italians who are Greek Orthodox. I'm sure there must be one or two.
Yeah, Greek Orthodox is just like...
It's Orthodox.
Heavy Catholic.
Yeah, but all Orthodox. Same thing is true with Eastern European Orthodox.
It's so interesting when you talk to people, again, because we were volunteering at the Greek Orthodox Church for the Greek Festival this weekend. And one of the most interesting things that you find is Catholics always say that Orthodox, they're so rigid. They're so rigid. Why would you ever go down that line?
Yeah, because Catholics, it's like a country club.
But then... The Orthodox,
they sin all week long, and as long as they tell the priest about it on Sunday, they're absolved.
But then the Orthodox say the same thing about the Catholics. They're like, oh no, they're so rigid. You don't want to be like them. You want to be more like us. I'm just like, guys,
wow, they're pitching you, right?
You have more similarities than you think.
They're giving you the pitch.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Wow, they're trying to get you into their religion.
Yeah. It's a process that you have to do to get into that stuff.
Oh, really? You got to have books and stuff? You got to study?
You got to take classes.
Test?
And I'm just like,
I'm
out.
Know.
Yeah.
I'm you required to be Greek Orthodox if you guys get married?
We're talking about that.
Well, no, but do people think that you should be required? I don't know. You're the guy. And I hate to be old world, but nothing's old world like Greek Orthodox, so I feel okay being old world here.
Yeah.
Usually, they don't put that much pressure on the guy. If it's the girl in any kind of Orthodox or Jewish, there's a lot of pressure to adopt.
Well, because the lineage carries through the mother.
Yeah, but in reality, if you what do you call it when you go from one religion to another? When you
convert.
If you convert, does that really count? That's always been a thing with Jews. Does it really count if it's a?
I'm sure they have some Yiddish word for it.
Well, there's shiksa. Is that a guy or a
no?
gal?
Shiksa is a woman.
Yeah,
who your Jewish son is in a relationship with.
Oh, that's not converted.
No.
Okay.
It's like a blonde, hot, she's a shiksa.
Yeah. Well, she can be a brunette as well, as long as she's
it's
not
usually
Jewish.
a blonde.
What are you making things up?
No, I'm
stereotyping.
Yeah. No such thing as a brunette shiksa? Of course there is. It sounds like you're swearing when you say shiksa.
Shiksa, yeah.
Or not. It sounds negative. So
the culture
what's the pitch to you? First of all, you're not all, I guess you believe in God and all that, but it's not like you're a Sunday churchgoer.
Correct. I'm more of a drive-through Catholic than anything.
Yeah. What is that? What's a drive-through Catholic?
A drive-through Catholic means Christmas and Easter.
And then do you really even make it to those?
Yeah.
We do. We're pretty good. We usually go to at least the Christmas Eve service.
I used to go to the Christmas Eve thing because there's good music.
Yes, very good music.
Depending on which church you
Glory
go.
to God in the highest.
But I thought
peace
better
to
than that.
His people on earth.
Better than that.
You know who's the best singers, though, are the Baptists out there. The Baptists, man, they have got the singing down.
Well, what do you mean?
It's too rock and roll.
That's what makes it awesome.
No,
I don't know. There's a
I
whole
like
lot
my
of
stuff traditional, ritual.
Wait a minute.
I like all that garbage.
There's a whole bunch of different stuff. First of all, saying I like that garbage is weird. But there's a whole bunch of... Look, all religion has... good old-fashioned Southern Baptists, old white guys with it's like the will the cross be unbroken? That stuff's great. Obviously, black gospel music is amazing.
Yes.
Which are you referring to? Because Catholics have the worst. There's no doubt about that. It's droney and
I would say
Catholics do not have good music.
I would say both black Baptist and white Baptists are hands down the best singing. I've been to Methodists; they're okay. Catholics, they're
when you walk into a church and there's electric guitars and drum set. And I get a little scared.
Yeah,
a little scared. Like the drummers behind that see-through plastic. It's like, what are you guys recording an album? What is happening here?
And the Orthodox, they're very...
How are the Greek Orthodox with their singing?
They're very chanty about
chanty. Yeah, that's very Catholic.
Yeah. And they go, back and forth.
You want to go to a church with better singing. Well, that's what I'm getting out of you.
I would say the singing is an important aspect. The hardest part
Especially
for me...
because Jared loves singing. He's such a great singer.
Yes, yeah.
He to get into it.
I am...
Is there an EDM church, I wonder? Where it would just be like...
Would that be the Church of Scientology? No, I guess not. No,
EDM, all you do is you just keep adopting music of the kids because... it's every church has to continue through generations to keep getting churchgoers, and so they eventually end up sort of bending toward a little bit of what the kids like. By kids, I mean 25 to 40, but I mean the bending in that way because you got to get people in. I mean, people die off, and you got to replace them with new churchgoers. That's just a bottom line kind of thing that you have to do. So.
Maybe
when you walk into the church, it sounds like the music that we hate when, Jared, when you play, it just sounds like dishwashers having a fight.
Yeah.
Oh, dubstep.
That'll be your church.
Dubstep, yeah.
You just walk in, that's how it's going, and then,
And every religion does it, or even something like Jesus Christ Superstar. The story is told in a different way for a new generation over and over.
My mind is clearer now.
And the hippies that got into... the hippie Christians. What were they called? There was a name for the hippie Christians.
Hippie Christians.
Chris Chippies.
No, there was a there was a name for them. It was derogatory because the other Christians got annoyed by him. But you know what? Those people are 70 now. The people who were the hippies. can't remember what they were called. There was a name for hello,
Yuppies?
English Nick.
You know, a hippie that I saw talking about the same musical the other day.
Jesus Christ Superstar?
Yeah, he's kind of a newer hippie. He's Jonathan Davis, the singer of that band Korn.
Yeah.
He was asked...
Well, he's got to be 45 or 50
got to be
years
pushing
old.
that.
Right, yeah.
Lost his wife, too, to suicide, I think, last year.
Terrible.
He was asked, what was he listening to growing up? And he said his parents were playing the regular, 70s rock and roll, but that was one album that they played all the time, the Jesus Christ
That's one of the
Superstar.
first albums that was in my house in the early 70s, and everybody liked it. My older brothers liked it, and my parents liked it.
Was your dad was still there then?
My dad was,
what I see.
It's like 1970.
All I ask is that you listen to me.
We are occupied. Have you forgotten how put down we are? I am frightened by the crowd, for we are getting much too loud. It was beautiful, but now it's sour.
Is there a musical?
Yes, it's all gone sour.
All right. You know what you should do?
Listen, Jesus, to the warning I give.
All right, we have only 15 minutes.
No wonder that.
You should do Autumn, which I did the other day. Sometimes I go down the YouTube portals, and I like
the rabbit hole.
I like to find like rock and roll from the 70s, and I was watching some Deep Purple because I was watching this thing from 1975 that I remember being on ABC's.
Was it
the
California concert?
Yes.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah, it's weird though.
Glenn
but
Hughes.
The footage is weird. Like you
dressed
go
in white.
I mean,
right?
yeah, like Black Sabbath. Ozzy Osbourne's real young there, but Deep Purple. And a lot of people don't know that the lead singer of Deep Purple is the voice of Jesus Christ on
Ian
the original soundtrack
Yeah.
of Jesus Christ Superstar. And when you watch him, it's like because all anybody knows really of Smoke on the Water is the chorus. But when you hear him singing, it's like, oh wow, that's Jesus from
Really?
Garden of Gethsemane.
He was in town last night.
Gethsemane, I said.
Gethsemane.
The Garden of Gethsemane.
No. Gethsemane. I love that song.
You
But
love everything.
I'm from the movie.
My favorite part of the album, which I think is better than the movie, is when they start really droning like an opera. Or like, what do we do? I know that's your favorite part. That's just like, okay, this is a bridge. We got to get some concepts across.
What do we do about Jesus?
No, I like
Nazareth?
that. When it breaks out, I like that. But
Okay.
there's like,
We are here.
he's going to.
That part?
Yeah, he's like, I can't remember what they're saying.
Gentlemen, you know why we are here.
Right, yeah, that one.
It was David Essex in the movie,
Pharisees
right?
are here for you.
Probably. I wasn't a big fan of the movie.
I think Essex.
I like the album a lot better. But then again, that's what I heard first. I don't like when things get changed when it goes to a movie. For instance, my favorite song on the Who Tommy was where the Doctor sings. I don't know if it's my favorite song, but it was one of my favorite moments in the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, how does that line go? The dials react, the lines affect it. He hears but cannot answer to your call. Isn't that the Doctor?
Something like that, yeah. But you don't you feel like
Jack Nicholson just speaks it.
Who does it on the album?
No, he seems to be completely unreceptive.
That's right.
The test I gave him showed no. And then Jack Nicholson's like, he seems to be completely unreceptive. I was like 12 or 13 when I saw it. I'm like, what?
I can't remember who sings it on the record. Who does that part on the record?
It's probably.
Is it Moon?
It might be because it doesn't sound like Daltrey or Townsend. No, I know that Moon sings "Fiddle About."
Oh yeah.
Fiddle about.
He would be the molester.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And all that.
Keith.
I'm not saying he was.
He's
a
doing
molester.
research. It was just research.
No, I'm not talking about. That's Pete.
He was just a crazier.
Keith Moon died in the 70s.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Pete had that's a whole different story. Yeah, Keith was always the crazy one.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I mean, he was off his head most of the time.
I don't know if he just annoyed the rest of the band. Most of the time.
Pete. I mean, I've heard.
He's a great drummer, but man, he just like all kinds of trouble going on back there. And then on YouTube, if you look for it, there's one night where he's so drugged out he falls asleep in the middle of a huge show. They are in a this is like everybody paid a lot of money in the 70s. They're in an arena, and there's footage. This is on YouTube. They have to ask somebody in the crowd
to get up and
if
play.
they're a drummer that know their songs, and somebody comes up, and then two security guys pull Keith Moon off of the drum riser and just he's out.
Yeah.
He's completely out, dead weight. as they pull him off the stage. I don't know how the rest of the show went.
There was
I guess if you're a drummer and you like the Who, you can hang in there, but
there was
They're
a thing
saying
that,
he collapsed online.
Yeah. Well, that's basically falling asleep because you've done too many.
It was drugs. It was drugs.
Well, the way that they're phrasing it.
Well, for collapse.
He passed out.
First of all, he was sitting down. He's a drummer. Most people who collapse are standing.
You know, I remember back in the early days of the live band karaoke thing, one of our first drummers used to drink a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm talking a lot, and I can drink, but he was drinking a lot.
You know what the drummer says when he steps up to the mic? Would you like fries with that?
So
has something to do with it.
So one night he had so much that he literally did. He was I knew it was coming because he started to miss some cymbals.
By the way, if you're watching on Facebook, she's showing it.
And then he fell off the stool.
Oh, really?
He fell off the drum throne, yeah. And that was the last gig he played with us.
That's the thing with drummers; they have to. It's alcohol and drugs take them out.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So
there was an anniversary.
Dave V. Johnson for Driving and Crying never drinks. Oh, he's just aware of the fact that drummers are just, that's
focus,
how,
man.
like 9 out of 10 drummers lose their job because their job is to drum. And if you're not involved in the songwriting and things like that, you can get yourself into the point where you're just like, well, I'll just show up for the rehearsals of the show.
If you're playing every night, you're kind of on autopilot most of the time. But drumming is one of the hardest things to do.
I'm not saying it's not hard.
It's so hard.
I don't understand why drummers don't get huge bibiceps.
Depends on how they play, I think. Some of them do.
Now, Neil Peart.
If you're an arm guy, right, like
Neil
Dave Grohl.
Neil Peart does, right? He plays like that.
He's bidladap. He's more risky.
Neil Peart, he's got all that show-off stuff.
He's very risky.
I can't even tell if he's good.
Yeah, it might be
great.
more.
He's
it might be more in like a hand muscle as opposed to your forearms.
You know what it is? It's the difference between jazz drummers and rock drummers. Jazz drummers do it all from their wrists.
Yeah.
You know, Ginger Baker of Cream, he had a little bit of that when he was still with us. He's still with us, but he's on the way out.
I would expect every drummer to be like the best, just guns.
Best condition.
Just guns.
Yeah.
And I so many drummers have little body definition. It's weird.
No, different drummers put different effort into it. Even if they have the same playing style, and some of them thrash at it more, so there's more muscle build up there, I think.
And I can understand why Pete Townsend maybe got annoyed with Keith Moon. But then again, Pete Townsend, he's got his own problems.
Oldham just showed the part where they were doing that TV show.
That was the Smothers Brothers.
They would always put explosives in his kit, right?
Yeah.
Well, on this particular night, the roadies had packed it with explosives, and Keith goes, "I'm going to put even more in there."
Yeah.
And that was when Townsend lost his hearing in one ear. And
yeah, you get these. I'll tell you what. If you look at a band like Rush, they were only going to go. They're done now, but I mean, they were only going to go until Neil Peart said, "I'm done."
Yeah, arthritis.
Because if you watch any kind of show, that poor guy had to work his ass off. I mean, the drums in that Rush music is just always front and center. It's never like he's never back there going boom, boom, boom. It's always at least like it's got his shoulders. A little bit of a show off, though. I think. I'll tell you what. This is another thing that's on YouTube, and I know people hate when we talk about music. That's the way it goes. Into every life.
You get into tangents.
A little rain must fall.
Yeah, people are asking why they can't see Autumn now.
Because she's playing videos.
I couldn't find it anyway.
Is that her daughter behind her?
All right, please. Let's not. We're almost done. Let's not encourage more of this.
Oh, they're all there.
Let's not encourage more of this.
Don't get him cursing like he was in the back of the car yesterday. Seen that video?
No, I don't watch. I'm not on social media.
Well,
why is
they're
this hard for
driving.
people
They're
to
driving and
understand?
laughing at Pete as he says,
everybody-
"WTF?"
See, here's the thing. Everybody did that, but now, for some reason, in the social media age, every child's first swear word has to be put up. Which
How did you find that, Nick?
Because I believe I follow you or Travis, and so it popped up on Twitter.
Okay, so Travis put it up. I didn't put it up.
He's stealing content.
Stealing content
Wow.
from you. So,
drummers.
Yeah. What was I going to say about Rush or one of those? I don't know. I kind of lost my track there. Thanks.
Sorry.
Thanks for knocking me off.
The music haters are
point
going to
that I
love
was
it.
going to make.
The music haters are
I
going to
know.
love
I had
it.
a great point. Oh no, I do know. On YouTube, the other day, this is crazy. I saw a Led Zeppelin. It's like a 25-minute set.
Yeah.
And it's on their first album. So they're on their first album. They're in Belgium or Sweden or something. Looks to be a television studio.
Oh, I believe it was France.
Okay, they've got a bunch of
And they're
hippies.
in like an igloo thing.
No, but they're in a television studio, and everybody, all
down.
the hippies are sitting down on like pillows.
Yes,
and these are the most docile hippies. Like they're not making any noise. they're being very. It's 1960s in.
It's 68 or 69 there somewhere.
Yeah, and they're like the TV people have told them don't get up, don't. And but so weird is Led Zeppelin plays it. They play it like they're playing Madison Square Garden. It's so awesome. But here's my point. My point about, and I'm nothing against Neil Peart, but John Bonham with a normal, just a regular drum set is playing Led Zeppelin. I mean, he is just, he's not using, he doesn't have 900 things. I don't think, he doesn't have a gong behind him.
No, here's the other thing. He may have, even if he ever had, he may have had 2 bass drums,
right?
But I think he always used a single pedal. I might be wrong on that.
But it's just like, it looks like just regular equipment. Like he went and got it from
Guitar Center.
If those existed in 1968. It's awesome to watch because the audience likes them, but I think they've just been told you're in a TV studio, act properly. So you got these long-haired hippies sitting on pillows, not really responding, and Robert Plant and Jimmy Page playing like they're in Madison Square Garden, and there's no stage, I don't think, really.
No, it's flat.
It's flat, and they're like sitting around them. It's pretty amazing.
Black and white, right?
Believe it's in black and white.
It's one of those. It's when Jimmy's got that. He's got that Telecaster with the crazy artwork, and he starts doing the bow.
He's doing the bow,
and they're so young, but they're so great.
Oh my God, they're great.
It's one of the best Zeppelin performances you're ever going to see.
Absolutely
on
great.
Yeah.
Well, the movie performances are good. It's just that the other stuff that they use to just fill things in don't.
But
make
the French
sense.
TV show I was talking about, they're in like this man-made massive igloo. It's not made of ice, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's like a dome, and they walk into the back, and the kids are sitting in there. And, man, I think that's French TV. It's so
they
great.
must have done a lot of these things in front of docile hippies.
Because think about it. There was no MTV at that point to promote your videos. So if you were on TV, it was going to be a live performance.
Yeah, and I guess back then it just wasn't protocol for kids to respond. They're probably, we're not going to have a Beatles situation here.
Yeah.
Now you sit on your pillows and you show some respect.
Girls, no urinating in the aisles.
None
please.
allowed. You'll be thrown out of here.
No.
One drop of urine, you're out. I had just about enough of this. Oh, have you seen? Oh, I want to bring it up. I'll bring it up tomorrow. This chicken noodle dance thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the latest viral challenge, right?
Well, it's not really a challenge. It's the BTS guy. K-Joy or something. Joy Love or something. I don't know. He's got the word. I think he has the word.
That's the chicken dance.
I know.
It's just called the chicken noodle dance. It's with some other famous person that I'm not aware of. It's him and some other famous rapper type gal that I'm not aware of who's famous.
Do you eat noodles with it?
No. This is a song.
Oh, okay.
And it's supposed to be like this really catchy song. Everything that you see on it, I'll tomorrow we got to go through this. Everything you read about, and I can't get it out of my head. I listen to it, I'm like, this is awful. This is terrible. Yeah, this is what everybody's going crazy about. And then some people are challenging each other to do the dance. But I mean, this stuff makes no sense.
Look at this.
Well, we're about due for another viral challenge. It's been a little while.
But I mean, that's more. But a viral challenge, I don't think this falls into that category. You know, the Drake thing where people were putting their lives at risk. This is just, can you dance the dance?
Chicken noodle soup song, yeah?
Chicken noodle soup song.
J-Hope.
Oh, my God. I can't get this out of my head. I don't know why. I listened to it once, thought it sucked. It hasn't been in my head for one moment since.
No, any headline like that is probably being either, like I've said before, they're under a deadline and they have to create something, or someone has a publicist, right? And they're just making this a thing.
But this will be big. I mean, this guy is big. I don't understand it, but this BTS stuff is big.
Yeah. You heard it here. This will be big.
Well, it's already big. It's beyond me. But one of the impeachment things I think we got to figure out a way to do that to the chicken noodle. Now I have to have one that's modern.
What about my thing that I made? No one's going to play it.
Well, here it is. Chicken noodle. This is it. I let it rain. With a soda on the side. This is the big song. Is he still in English or no?
Yeah.
No.
Swahili or something.
Korean.
It's Korean. He's from BTS. Swahili.
I know nothing about these people. I know nothing. I'm very happy.
You ought to open your mind.
No, I don't need to.
What, chicken noodle soup?
It'll be all over in 6 months.
Chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side.
Yeah, you. According to the internet, you won't be able to get it out of your head.
Wow.
It broke Twitter. The internet is freaking out.
It had trouble getting into my head.
You know what? It's great. This
I watched
song
the
is,
whole video.
If you're starting to feel the effects of a cold coming on, do it.
Yeah, it is good for you.
Yeah, the chicken noodle soup.
By the way, that's another fallacy.
You think so?
Yeah, well, it might feel
it's
good.
Mental, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels good to breathe in the steam and everything when you have a
salt
cold.
too. It helps something.
But the idea that it makes you better. Yeah, I had some chicken noodle soup. I'm fine. I'll be in the office by 2.
I think it works.
Oh, you would.
Yeah, I like a little chicken noodle soup when I'm not feeling well.
Okay, I'm saying it because it's the heat and it's the warmth and the steam and all that.
This puts me in a good state of mind.
But it doesn't make you better. That's the idea that makes you any more than walking home in the rain gives you a cold.
Actually,
what is that?
It's just a stupid thing. It's one of those things that started in movies.
Come inside, you'll catch your death.
Yeah, you know, like in movies where, like in the 40s, like somebody punches somebody, then they like for some reason they're out for the next 10 minutes in the scene.
Oh yeah,
one guy just punches a guy in the face. He falls to the ground. The scene goes on for 10 more minutes. This guy's out.
Well, maybe he punched him hard.
No, in real life that happens. You've got some brain damage if you're out for 10 plus minutes. Because you got
think
punched.
about it. Because professional boxers who get hit really hard, they're down for like 30 seconds.
Or legendary teams who do cheap shots on young quarterbacks.
Oh, you still not over that?
Yeah.
That still wasn't as cheap as that Raiders shot that happened.
I didn't see it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I gotta show you the video after we get done.
He said gosh, he means it.
Hey, speaking of shots, thanks to everybody who came on the J Rad and English Nick pub crawl.
Yes, it was a
Good
great
time.
time. That's a great crowd.
Great group of people. Even the next night, the people who were working the Dark Horse said to me, those were some really nice people.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And bartenders don't always say that.
They are
That's true.
What do you call them? Doctrinaires. They're ceremonial. That's not the right word. They're doctrinaires. Honorary.
Yeah.
I hate that nation thing, so I don't want to say the Doctrine Nation. I want to say they're doctrinaires.
Well,
and they're always good.
What was most impressive was when we were at a place where there was limited seating, how everybody just had no issues sitting together, becoming friends with each other.
Right, because they
probably changed some numbers around. So
we're not going to change the world, but we are doing what I talk about. We're going to leave the campground a little cleaner than we found. All right. We'll be back tomorrow. You can join us. You don't have to. It's your life. We're going to do another great show. We'd like to see you there. Bye.
It's your life. It's your life.